Dude, I've been seeing the pictures. Dude, I know if I play that, I'm gonna get sucked down a rabbit hole. I know for a fact.
Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers that you have never heard of.
I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me.
Funny, I was just sitting in the coffee shop one day, just being like, you know what? I haven't seen Goth Cowboys.
Yeah, so the Infinity Bros are saying that they like your Spidey themed stuff going on.
Dude, I gotta show you. Hold on.
Oh no, here we go.
You know, my thing is when the Lord gave me dominion, something huge. because God doesn't do anything halfway.
I appreciate the fact that the comic book movies like DC and MCU, they take the source material seriously, but they're not afraid to like show loyalty to the source material.
Sinestro was good, but there's no way in the world that Doom's going to lose to him.
I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek. I use thought bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because Jesus, he died for me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me.
I was like, you know what? Not only are they not hiring black people to work on these films and cartoons, I don't see enough diversity. I don't see enough inclusion. I don't see people in wheelchairs or walkers. I don't see sickle cell characters.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's my favorite one. I got this for Christmas. It's Spider-Man Hulk.
Although I'm being shown up here, to be completely honest, because
Oh, yeah.
Lewis came in the show
Let's
like
give
this.
him a taste. Let's give him a
Show
taste
them
real
this.
quick.
Show them this, man.
Like, we went all out. We even got the knee socks. Got it all. Give him a twirl.
Yeah, man.
Character that is my number one, like no doubt about it. So this was one of the comics that was in, not this specific one, but this character in that box that I was referring to, that opened the gateway for me for comics for life. It's this guy right here. I know it's backwards, but it's Spawn.
So I hope you come here. I hope you feel loved. I hope you feel part of this family. This is the Comic Clan. If you want to be part of it, we are here with open arms for you. Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross. I am always one of your hosts for today, Cross, along with my co-host, my partner in crime, my brother in arms, the dynamic duo. Any
What
other
up?
analogy for two people that you can think of? I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Nitro, right to my... Oop, pointing the wrong side. Been a while if I've done that. Nitro, over to my side. Nitro, say hi to
What's
the
up,
people.
everybody? What's up?
And
How's it
ads.
going?
Thank you for that, host, my brother. Greatly appreciated. It's one of the first guys in chat like every single week. Absolutely appreciate it, brother. You're always here, always hosting, always
The real
supporting,
OG.
man. Yeah, man, one of the first. There you go, Nitro throwing in some of our new emotes. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you have got access to the hype emote at the very least. If you subscribe to tier 2, you also get access to the pow emote. I'll throw that one.
Now
out.
we had this conversation before we came in, but I just wanted to point out that we are the Hat Bros today. Since I am a good 45% Irish, I wanted to wear
Oh dear goodness.
a little nod of the cap to my ancestors.
No. Let's straighten this up right now. You did not want to be hat bros. You came on the call. You weren't even wearing a hat.
I wasn't. I was jealous. I'm gonna be straight up. I was jealous of the fedora.
You challenged me to the fedora last week. I asked the people what they thought, and the people are like, "Keep the hat. The hat has to come back."
And now I want some hat love too.
So Nitro
wear
got jealous of this challenge that he gave me to wear this fedora on stream. He
I
doesn't
did.
like I'm getting the attention for my hat now, and he wants the same.
I did.
Well, buy a
It was
fedora, you'll get
drive-by
the attention.
challenge. It was drive-by hat challenge.
Right.
I don't know.
Drive-by-
Let's just keep going. Let's just keep
Drive-by
going.
hat challenge? You think your hat's even got close to getting a shot to mine? You think the flat cap's even close to the fedora?
I mean, we
Son.
can step the hat. We can step the hat game up. I mean, if we want to go there, we can step it up.
CoGamer221 like what a burger ad time.
What?
Welcome to the chat, bro. I'm assuming you just got a what a burger ad pop up. Thank you for checking out the ads that come along with the channel. They honestly help support us as well. So
Yes,
yes. Thank you for sitting through what a burger on our behalf.
I
Okay,
feel like
ad
I'm
time
super
over.
close.
Thank you for being in the chat, CoGamer. We completely appreciate it. And thank you for sitting through a Whataburger ad, which, to be fair, you should thank your lucky stars that you're getting a Whataburger app, and at least it isn't a political ad, because every time I go on
Oh
streaming
my
services and
goodness.
YouTube, all I see is political ads.
And they're getting to the point where they won't let you skip them. So
Yeah.
it's very frustrating.
No,
And they're
YouTube's
like
getting
48
to the
minutes.
point of, like, one will literally come on, like, barely. The video will start playing that I'm watching, and then it'll jump straight to, like, a double ad. And I'm like, seriously? Like,
Yeah.
this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're like an hour and a half long, each one.
Yeah,
So.
but we are doing absolutely great, CoGamer. Thank you for coming and joining us today, and you have picked the right episode to pop in on, as of you ads, as is anyone else in chat. We are going to be doing some ranting today. That is full-blown ranting.
That's what we do best. That's
is
what we
coming.
do best, though.
Any of you who were here for the Fantastic Four podcast, when we talked about the Fantastic Four movies, and Nitro and I just went off, Oh, that's nothing compared to what's coming ahead, because we are talking about X-Men 3: The Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I mean, arguably the two best comic book movies out right now,
Oh yeah, yeah.
or ever released.
Endgame what? You know, it's like Endgame
Yeah,
who?
exactly.
Thanos who?
Logan?
Seriously?
Logan? Somebody say Logan?
No,
Deadpool?
no,
What?
not
What are you
at all.
talking about?
Best X-Men, best Wolverine movie out there is obviously Origins.
Absolutely. Followed closely by Elektra. I mean, let's be real here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Co-Gamer, yeah, I don't understand that, like the political ads that then add polls into them, and I'm like, I don't want to take your poll. I don't care about your candidate. I just want to watch a video. That's all I'm trying to do. It's like anything else. I think I don't know if anyone's seen it when I posted it online this week, but it was literally like if you put an ad up for a video and it like starts to bug me so much, I don't care if it's political or not, you're automatically putting me off your candidate or your product. Like legitimately, you're starting to make me like whether or not I was planning on buying it, whether or not I was planning on voting for that person, you're legitimately starting to put me off them just by seeing them so often.
I mean,
regardless.
Let's be honest. Yeah, regardless of who you're voting for, like 99% of people have already made up their minds. So let's be real here.
See if anyone's in chat, please correct me, but if anyone in chat has ever voted for a political candidate based upon the fact of like a political ad has popped up and made you rethink your choice, please let me know, but I don't think that's ever happened.
It's like I wanted to watch this rerun of Barney episode 3, but this interruption from this political ad has totally changed my mind.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna vote for this guy.
Neva, thank you so much for popping in the chat. Greetings and salutations from Kansas. Well, thank you so much for popping in. We're glad that you could be here.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, at least give us ads that matter, such as medical. Yeah, at least give us something that like is actually going to be of some benefit to us. If you're going to throw ads like that up, do something that like here, like you've got health issues. Here's an issue. Here's something you might need to know regarding that.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough rambling because we have some news to
see.
Jump
We've already
into.
Started ranting. We haven't even gotten to the real rant.
I know. We're going to go off for that. But before we jump into X-Men, we usually do like to start off talking about news from this week. And I don't know what's happened the last couple of weeks, but the last 2 weeks, the news has been nuts. We've gotten so many news articles the last couple of weeks. And it legitimately started, like, what, a couple of hours after the podcast last week?
Yeah, the WandaVision trailer.
Yeah. Literally, we went off the air and WandaVision dropped the trailer. Like, literally. And it's not stopped all week. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, and I wasn't even aware that it had dropped. And I was on Twitter later that evening, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, out of nowhere, I was
happened?
just scrolling on social media, and I was like, oh, WandaVision trailer dropped. And I'm like, was that meant to be dropping? Because
Quit playing, man.
Because like, we weren't expecting it. There was nothing hinting and expecting it. But we did. We got the WandaVision trailer. Apparently, that's like the one Marvel thing we're going to be getting before the end of the year. It's supposed to drop before end of 2020. A lot of people are guessing
awesome, man.
It's going to drop in December because The Mandalorian drops October 30th, and like it drops an episode every week, and that's going to wrap up like end of November, start of December. So a lot of people think that's when it's going to.
Dude, I'm super excited about it. It looks fantastic.
And
I was initially I was scared that because they were talking about doing like a sitcom-ish style, and I was like, I don't want the whole thing to be a sitcom. I don't know. That was kind of taking me out of it. But now seeing some of the footage from the trailer, you saw it actually cinematic footage, and I was like, okay.
Do you know what I love about it though? Is like I completely clicked on what the premise is out of it. As soon as I heard someone talking about it and the way that they said the title name, it's not like WandaVision, it's WandaVision.
Okay.
It's like, it's like when Deadpool sees fantasy stuff and it's Pull-O-Vision, it's from his perspective. It's WandaVision. It's not like WandaVision as the characters. It's everything from her perspective. So I think the way this is going to play it is this is her is going through the whole Scarlet Witch losing her mind process. And this is her trying to latch on to the life that she wanted with Vision. And it starts to play out in like different sitcom sort of scenarios, because you get like the 1950s black and white haha sort of and then you get like the 1970s kind of like Brady Bunch looking sort of thing.
I legitimately think she's gonna bend reality and bring Vision back somehow. But he's not gonna have his memories.
Well, apparently this is meant to tie into like Doctor Strange and like the multiverse of madness, and I think this is going to be the opening of a bunch of multiverses. Like every like world I think she opens is going to become another multiverse like variant. And it's going to tie into that, and that's how we're going to possibly get like her twins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like it's so freaky though. Like it also is like very unnerving. Like, was it like during the dinner scene with
Yes.
the other couple, and like he just keeps going. I'm trying to even remember what the guy's saying, but like he just keeps saying it over
He
and
asks them
over.
how long they've been here or where they from or
Yeah, it's
something
like,
like
and he
that.
keeps saying the one thing over and over
And then
and
he
over
yells at
and
him and
over.
slams his hand on the.
And it's almost like a computer like breaking down, and
Yeah.
then and like Vision when he goes to the car to see that woman is like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Am I dead?" Like, no, why would you be dead? Because you are.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Dude,
okay, this
one
is like
thing.
getting unnerving for something that they're putting on Disney Plus. This is like actually kind of freaky.
I watch all those new Rockstar videos where they break all the trailers and all the movies down. They show you all the Easter eggs. Somebody pointed out, so in the original comics, I don't know what the comic was called, but it was when Scarlet and Vision had kids,
Mhm.
and the doctor that helped her deliver the kids was like a cow, like part cow, like he was a head of a cow, but it was I don't know, anthropomorphic, whatever. In the trailer, I don't know if you see, but when she's on the couch and she does her hands and everything morphs into a new like century or whatever, not
Yeah,
century, but a new decade.
yeah,
There's a portrait behind her of a cow head, and I think they're hinting towards like something or at least paying homage
yeah.
to it or whatever.
Something is going to come from this, and this is going to be interesting. And it'd be interesting if they ended up doing a kind of like Avengers Disassembled sort of thing, where like Scarlet Witch breaks them down and set up for like the new Avengers type thing. That like obviously it's not going to be the same characters that's in that, but like at this point in time, like the main Avengers are all done.
Yeah.
And they're all going their separate ways. So that could be a interesting setup for a new Avengers coming together.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm all for it though. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think this is where the mutants. I think they're going to come from Scarlet Witch. I think the mutants are going to come from Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, because that's
you
it.
heard it here first. She's
Yeah.
going to warp reality to a point where it creates a separate like race of people, the mutants.
Yeah, and why not? And it's like she can even make herself. Like she can make herself a mutant. We could see the kids coming in. We could even see Quicksilver possibly show up and return, and actually do something of any worth. You know, it's like there's a lot of stuff that they can do from this. There's a lot, and it's like, but like I'm all for it. What I've seen of it, I'm good for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, but the trailer got me hype. Sorry, I was gonna do the hype and the emoji, but it didn't work.
There you
That
go.
was a fail. There we
Delay. So let's stick with Marvel news because we got WandaVision. But then we also got an announcement for pretty much the whole of Phase 4 of the MCU has been delayed.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything has been pushed back, which we
2021.
kind of knew it was coming. Like, I'm surprised WandaVision's even rumoured for this year at this point. Like, we knew everything was getting pushed back. The first thing of interest is the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the show that's coming to Disney Plus, has got pushed back to 2021. And that was meant to drop before WandaVision. Like, we're meant to have gotten that pretty much already before stuff slowed down. My wondering for that is, like, does WandaVision have to stay where it is because of the way it ties into stuff? Because I don't know how much, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to directly tie into, like, the upcoming movies. We know Scarlet Witch, you know, is going out with Doctor Strange. But, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, even though it's part of that world, it might be its own little separate thing, so they can kind of push it back a bit.
I don't know. They feel pretty adamant about putting WandaVision first. So, I mean, I would assume that it has at least some sort of impact on the movies that follow.
Oh, yeah, well,
and
they've confirmed that. Like, both that
Yeah.
and Loki are meant to tie into Doctor Strange. Which makes sense because, like, they're both big magic users in the MCU or in the Marvel comics and crossover with Doctor Strange. So doing that with the MCUs, it makes sense. But everything else has been pushed back as well. So, like, Black Widow, at this point, has been pushed back a year from, like, its original date. It's going to be May 7th of next year. Shang-Chi has been pushed back to July 7th of 2021. And then Eternals has been pushed back all the way, like, over a year out till November 5th of 2021.
Dude, that's the movie that I'm most hype about is the Eternals. I'm really excited.
Like a month or two ago, we were saying that. It's like, let's get the trailer for this.
Yeah, they have to have had the trailer since, you know, Black Widow was coming out this past May, and that trailer was supposed to be attached with that movie. You know they had the trailer.
Yeah.
You know they have it.
Now we're not going to see it for, like, over a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole MCU has been pushed back pretty much for the just obviously because of COVID-19, because of everything that's happening with that. It's like it pushed back production on everything. So we expected it. We knew it was coming. We knew that the stuff was going to be pushed back. I don't know if I expected stuff to be pushed back this much. Like, I get them pushing it back, you know, like, they're trying to bank what they can on it, like, because they could drop Black Widow now. Black Widow was meant to drop like a few months ago, and they could drop it. But they know they're not going to make bank on it at this point. Because, like, barely anybody's going to the cinema, and those that are going to, like, social distance cinemas.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to push it back far enough to get as much of a return on it as they can.
Yeah.
Because
I think
we've seen Disney already trying to do that, because they can, like, because they dropped, like, Onward onto Disney Plus, and then we've seen it with Mulan, is like the fact of, like, well, we can't keep doing that because we're going to lose all our money.
I was gonna say, I think Mulan was their big test case, and they realized that it's not as profitable as it could have been.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, that's like, hey, you can get Disney Plus and watch this thing for free in a couple of months, or you can pay $30 on top of that to get a premium membership
like,
right now.
wait.
And I'm like $30?
Yeah.
$30?
No way.
Like, that's going to cost more than it would have to see it in the cinema. That's going to cost more than it would to buy the DVD or Blu-ray.
I mean, I get it. People are breaking it down, and they're like, you know, if you go to the movies, a ticket's gonna be like $10 to $15, and if two of you are watching the movie, it's the price of the movie. Yeah, but the movie has a 70-foot screen and the best sound and visual equipment you can get.
Yeah, it's
different than watching it on like a 60-inch TV.
Dude, you've been in my house, you've been in my house, like, you've seen the TV that's in our playroom with the kids, like, you've seen the pictures I posted of the TV that I got, and I'm like, the TV that's like right here in my office, or it's right next to me across from the sofa. That is not worth $30 to watch Mulan.
No.
I don't care if I don't care if I invite a party of people over to watch it. That is not $30 worth of screen.
No.
It's a good TV and it's a good size, but that's not $30 for a movie.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I got a bargain basement.
Especially when they dropped it as going to, like, be on for free in December.
Yeah. No, I'm not paying for it. I'm sorry.
No. It's like,
yeah, I got a bargain basement, like 55-inch 4K TV, the one that I got like 4 years ago, where they didn't really know what 4K was.
Yeah,
they just advertised it as such. So yeah, it's not going to be a $30 movie on my TV.
No chance, and it's like it's not worth it. Even at its best, you know what I mean. I struggle to pay that if they dropped. Like, it could literally have been Avengers Endgame dropping that way, and I probably would have just waited a couple of months for it to come free. Because, like, it's an extortionate price, to be completely honest. So
I agree.
So I think this is how they're going to make their money back. So, but yeah, so we'll try and keep you updated and all that stuff as much as we can, if we get any more details. But yeah, it looks like, apart from, enjoy WandaVision, because everything else is coming out next year. If you want Marvel this year, you better freaking watch WandaVision. It's the only thing we're getting.
Yep.
Next, let's jump more to Disney Plus stuff. Something else that is coming out, not this year, but it is going to be coming soon, is we're getting another Marvel Disney Plus show. Samuel L. Jackson has confirmed that he will be returning as Nick Fury for a Nick Fury series coming to Disney Plus. I am all for this. Give me more Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and actually let's spend some time with Nick Fury and watch that side of things, because there's a lot of great stories that can be told from that, and from, let's be honest, S.H.I.E.L.D. was disbanded, but it's pretty much going to be S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
It's pretty much going to be like the rebuilding of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I agree to a point. Like, I feel like I would have been more gung-ho about this maybe like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, it does feel
the
like
same thing with the Black Widow movie, though, right? Because we've had this conversation. I feel like if they would have done a Black Widow movie maybe like even 5 years ago, I think it would have had a much better impact. I don't know. It's
like, at the same time, though, I feel like there's a story to tell with Nick Fury, in a sense, if he's up for it. Because,
he's still mysterious. Like, you don't know about him.
Because we've seen that he's clearly got resources. He's clearly doing stuff. He's clearly traveling and doing stuff, even though S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone. Not to mention the fact of, like, his big initiative was the Avengers, and now that the Avengers they've basically done what they set out to do.
Yeah.
To fight the fights that no one else could. I'm like, they fought the fight. They saved the world from Thanos.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Endgame.
If you haven't seen it, shame on you, and you're listening to this.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, but like, they saved the world from Thanos, and it's like, and most of them have like retired and moved on with their lives, or, you know, sadly in some cases passed away. But it's like, what does Fury do now? Because this is his life. He doesn't stop this. And I kind of like we could be going a different route with this, because I don't want to just see him, I'm going to get invested in the next generation and it's going to be the new Avengers. Like, no, they don't need him. Like, I want to see what Fury does next. As long as they do a good story for it, this could be worthwhile.
As long as he's on a plane with a ton of snakes, I'm all in.
Yep, that's it.
All in.
You've heard it drop here, Serpent Society, first villains for Nick Fury movie. Yeah, they'll never touch them. But like, again, we don't have any details about it. It's literally just dropped this. Like, we don't even know what the name is. I think like Boss Logic or somebody dropped like a poster with just Fury, like as a thing for it, like just to hype it up the announcement. But legitimately, we don't know anything. We don't even know the title of it.
This is one of the things that gets me really excited about Disney, though, is like original content for Marvel specifically, because they can really do whatever they want. Like, I grew up with the What If comics, and the fact that they're doing a What If show just is so awesome to me.
No show in the world is hyping me as much as wanting that one. Like, I still legitimately stand by What If should have been the first show that dropped. That should have been like, along with Mandalorian, one of the shows that dropped when they created Disney Plus. But ads in the chat saying I'm all for that. I'm hoping they go with his Howling Commandos, the ones with supernatural monsters.
I don't know a whole lot about that, honestly.
That'd be an interesting route to go, like take him into the supernatural stuff, because we've kind of touched on supernatural stuff, and we're starting to go into a world where we're seeing more of that. Like, obviously, like, because we're getting like Moon Knight, we're getting Blade, we've touched on like different things like that. So going that route could be interesting.
Yeah.
If we do supernatural stuff, I'm still more Midnight Suns, like, because we're starting to get a lot of the characters that fit that. So
I'm all about that. What is that? It's Ghost Rider, Blade, Moon Knight, right?
Yeah, because you could do Ghost Rider, you could do Blade, you could do Moon Knight. Morbius is a part of it, but unfortunately he's not.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There. We could do Doctor Strange. Could be part
I forgot
of
they
it.
were even doing that movie, Morbius. Sorry.
So did everybody. Jared Leto, you've done enough freaky superhero and comic book characters. Let's just, after what happened with
Trailer.
Joker,
I mean, what I saw in the trailer looked okay.
it looked decent, but like
it looked okay.
But it's Sony. Venom looked half decent, and it turned out like, you know, like pick it up for $5 in a bargain bin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we still got some other stuff. Let's jump over to the DC stuff, because there's a lot of DC stuff been announced for this week as well. Let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start movies first.
Yep.
Oh no, actually, let's start TV shows first and move into movies, because the movies is more of a bigger talking point. So first of all, we got our first test image of, I'm going to mispronounce this name so badly, and I'm so sorry, Javicia Leslie, who's the person playing Batwoman now in the CW Batman show, Batwoman show, because obviously Ruby Rose stepped away, and instead of just recasting Kate Kane, they're now creating a whole new person to take on the mantle of Batwoman. I don't know how that's going to look in the show. I will be honest, I did not finish season 1. I watched up until Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the drive to get back into it just disappeared following Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
The drive to get into any of these shows, like, legitimately, I was trying to keep up with the CW shows. I was trying to keep up with it. But literally after Crisis on Infinite Earths, that part of me was like, I'm done.
I mean, part of me is going to lose my comic nerd status card on this, but like most of those shows, I'm just like, this is boring, and this looks really bad.
Most of it really is. Like Batwoman, I've got no urge to get back in. The show was okay at first. Like it was decent because it was doing kind of a Batman-esque story, and I'm like, okay, we could do something with this. You've got my attention, and then it was like, I think Crisis ruined it for me, because I was like, I really don't care about her teaming with people because I don't know who she is yet. You've not built her up enough. And with the rest of the shows, I'm like, literally every season that passes by, I'm getting diminishing returns. I will be honest, I did enjoy Arrow, except for like seasons 3 and 4. I enjoyed all of Arrow. Season 8 doesn't count because it was literally the setup of getting Oliver Queen to Crisis. Season 7 was his finale. Season 8 was pretty much pre-Crisis story.
I like The Flash. Like, I like the first couple seasons of The Flash. I was in it. You know, and even, I know it's blasphemy, but I even enjoyed Gotham to a certain extent. Like the first season.
Gotham was
I thought it was really well done.
Gotham was pretty interesting. But Flash, I enjoyed Flash. I thought it was a really good show. Flash, I think, suffers. It's one of the shows that I've seen, I think, suffers from the whole idea of it has to be 24 episodes for a season. Let me go to the chat. He's all for an ad saying, for me, her face doesn't fit the mask. Yeah, it just you can look at it
I
and it's like,
agree.
it just doesn't seem to work. Like it's literally like they didn't cast a new mask. It's literally like they took Ruby Rose's mask and just put it on her.
Yeah.
And Cecil, one of the guys
What's
from
up, Cecil?
over at GSMW, thank you for popping in, Demented.
Yeah, thanks.
Just hopping in to say hi, first time here. We are so glad you're here, man. Welcome. And
Just
I'm
for
welcome
that,
to be part
Cecil,
of
you deserve a hype.
dropping the hypes. Thank you for coming in and welcome to be part of the Comic Clan. You actually dropped a follow for us when we were offline, and thank you for anyone who does that. We appreciate them. Whether we're here streaming or whether we're not, we're just happy people follow and want to listen to us. It helps keep us going. So thank you so much, brother, for jumping in. But yeah, so like, I kind of lost interest in a lot of these shows. I think the 24 episode thing ruins a lot of the CW ones. I think if they were shorter, like 10 to 13 episodes, and kill a lot and get rid of a lot of the fillers, they would do a lot better. But like, I started getting bored of them. Batwoman, I might go back and try and watch this one just to kind of get an idea of it, so I can talk about it on stream. Like I've actually looked at it. I've not just. But like, even then, the chances of me watching this aren't high.
Yeah.
But we're going to stick with the
I just can't get excited about those shows, man.
And we're going to stick with CW. If you're getting fed up with the CW shows, don't worry. You've got one less to worry about. Supergirl has officially been cancelled.
Shoot.
This upcoming season 6,
Daggone it,
is going to be its last season, and then it is officially done. I'm
I'm going to be depressed for the rest of the day.
I am so happy they finally just put the nail in the coffin for this. I'm not gonna lie, I love Supergirl at first. Like, I missed the first few seasons of it, because I never had CBS. I only had streaming services, so I never saw the first season until they all dropped to Netflix, and I binged season 1, 2, and possibly 3. Were good. I actually enjoyed it. There was some changes when the CW took over and stuff, but I'm like, this is actually decent. I'm actually enjoying the characters.
Yeah.
But it was literally like every season started to decline. And I don't know if it's just me. If anyone in the chat actually still enjoys it and enjoys her, let me know. But I just found, like, Supergirl herself, not the actress, Melissa Benoit is an awesome actress. She's really good. She does a lot with what she's given. But, like, Kara Danvers, like, her character in Supergirl, like, just becomes so freaking unlikable in so many situations. Like, are you sure you're a Kryptonian? Like, really? Like, I can't imagine Superman being this unlikable. Like, he shows up in some of the episodes, and he's more likable than she is, and I'm like, they're meant to be the same.
It started off good, but it's definitely time to say goodbye.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the show is getting axed.
Cue the Boys the Men song. Sorry.
You need to sing it now. You can't just say it. You need to sing it now.
I'm not warmed up. It would just not be good for anybody.
Yeah, well, we want to give your voice, the perfect rest to do that in the right time.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta take care of your instrument. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it, man. But like, I know it completely breaks your heart, Nitro. I know you were a massive fan of all the CW shows. You've got
devastated.
It's like you binge watch them all the time. You've got the Blu-rays all lined up in your shelves.
I own all of them.
And I know that breaks your heart.
Right there.
Yeah.
I own all of them. And by all of them, I mean absolutely none of them.
Yeah, see all those those DVDs and Blu-rays later? They're actually all CW shows,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
the only ones that I have.
Not just the DC ones, just CW shows in general.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
and they're all in 4K. So
yeah, you can't get enough of them, man.
I wanted to spend the maximum amount of money when I could on them. So that's what it is.
But yeah, so I'm not surprised at this. I think Batwoman, depending how this new season's going to go, is going to be shortly after it. I think The Flash is probably going to go next.
You think?
The Flash is the same for me. Like, it's just gotten more and more boring. Like, I literally watched the start of that last season that led into Crisis on Infinite Earth, and I'm literally watching it like, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
About any of this? Like, all of it was this, we're trying to rush this villain in and do this stuff, and like, see if he fights another freaking speedster.
That's the thing, man.
First
like, it's just like negative versions of himself. I mean, I guess the same could be said about Iron Man.
First 3 seasons were back-to-back speedsters.
Yeah.
First 3! They literally went from Reverse Flash to Zoom to Savitar. 3 speedsters back-to-back.
Yeah.
And then they did a season with the Thinker, and it was good. We were getting something different. And then the next season, they introduced Godspeed, not as a main villain, but they introduced another speedster.
Yeah.
He has other villains. I'm like, oh. But anyway, let's jump into some better news for DC, as we're going to go into kind of the movie stuff for one of them, but definitely movies for the other. First of all, we spoke about it a little while ago of the great trailer we got introducing all the characters for James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad movie. I am freaking hyped for this movie. It looks like
awesome.
it's going to be awesome. All the characters.
Bat crap crazy. That's
you
what it
know,
looks like.
most of them is going to die, which is going to be awesome. And I'm not going to lie, I think this character's going to die as well. I think this is going to be like a prequel to it. I'm not going to lie. But John Cena's Peacemaker has officially been confirmed to be getting a spin-off show on HBO Max focusing on his character. Apparently it's going to be from James Gunn. So he's going to continue working on it. I honestly think Peacemaker's going to die in the movie, and this is going to be like a prequel of like setting up more of who he is and seeing the before the squad thing. I honestly think, and I'm guessing that just because they're doing that prequel thing for it makes sense, but also at the same time, like a lot of them are going to die. They're bringing in big names just to kill them off, you know it.
The thing with John Cena is he's like John Cena, if you're listening to this, please don't murder me. But he's like borderline good actor. Like some of the stuff he's in, he's good. Some of the stuff he's in, he's awful.
He's so like, right. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me kind of like when Hulk Hogan started doing acting after he wrestled for a bit, and like The Rock's like very early stuff.
Yeah, even The Rock, like like you said,
his really
very
early stuff, like
you know,
like Scorpion King was an action movie, so you kind of get away with it. But like you know when he done like what was it, like the Rundown, and Walking Tall and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, they're decent movies. I'll sit and watch them. They're
like, you know, when you're watching a movie, you can tell somebody's acting, and you're like, it just takes you right out of it.
Yeah, it's one of the...
Listen to me, the professional actor, talking about how to hone your craft of acting.
Oh yeah, I mean we're perfect at it, bro.
We're connoisseurs of it, though.
I mean, I'm not even Scottish. So... just really good actor, man.
Yeah, I'm Russian. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
John Cena could be behind you right now, and you would never even know.
Yeah. Can't see me, man. Can't see him.
But yeah, it's very interesting. I'm excited. James Gunn on the Suicide Squad. I'm excited to see what he does. But we'll see.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see. Again, there's not a lot of details there, just announcements, a lot of this stuff now. So we'll need to wait and see what kind of stuff comes out. We'll need to see if Peacemaker does well in Suicide Squad and if people actually care about a Peacemaker show.
Yeah.
Seal, thank you for popping in, man, and thank you for dropping that lurk. Seal, if any of you know our friends that we've been shouting out over at the Co-op Trio podcast, we've been playing some Among Us over there at night. I've been popping into their stream playing Among Us, and that includes it along with Seal the Centurion. So let me give Seal a shout out. Hopefully that works. There we go. Go ahead and give Seal a follow. Absolute legend of a guy. Scary knowledgeable on a lot of things. Like there's the stuff he drops for a younger guy is he's scary knowledgeable, but go show him some absolute love. And if anyone is in here wants to throw in a lot, just let us know that you're here, but you're just listening. Even if you're not interacting, we appreciate it. We absolutely love our lurkers. Just make sure on Twitch that if you mute us, you mute the tab and mute the website and not our stream, just to help us count towards viewership. If you mute the stream, it doesn't count the viewers. So if you want to do that, if you're doing other stuff or keep us in a low volume or whatever, then by all means. Demented just started playing Among Us. Yeah, I've been playing it with Co-op Trio podcast, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's actually it's a lot more fun than it should be for a game that's like 2 years old, that like just started getting popular. And I'm like,
is that the one where they were going to make a sequel and they were like, no, we just realized how popular
like literally they were going to make a sequel for it, and they went, no, we're just going to worry about upgrading this one because people are now playing it. It's one of those top games now. But it is a lot of freaking fun. And if you want to play it as well, by all means, you can actually download it on your phone for free. And play it from there. Or if you want to get it on Steam, like I play it on the computer, it's like $5 on Steam. If you want to download it that way. I do it that way just because playing it on my phone was starting to get very annoying. And I'm like, you know what, $5, I'll just get it.
Yeah.
And if that's something you want to see us ever play on stream, just let us know. I'm sure we can set up like an Among Us streaming thing at some point. That'd be fun. Listen to Nitro scream whenever he gets murdered.
Dude, I've got to be very careful because I get very into games, and sometimes the stuff that I say is not super appropriate. So
You need to keep us.
I'm trying to monitor that.
Need to keep us family friendly, man. I put a family friendly tag on us today, so we need to stay family friendly today.
Hence why you don't see a ton of streams from me.
Nitro gets caught up in the moment.
I do, man.
And then
it's
the moment
really
catches
bad.
him.
I am aware of that, so at least I'm aware of it,
Yeah.
Whatever.
And Demented saying he just bought it on Steam. Like, yeah, honestly, buying it on Steam was it was a lot easier. I prefer using it on the computer to the phone. The phone just gets a bit fiddly sometimes. But last big bit of news then was, of course, we got a big bit of casting news. At first it was rumored he was doing it, but then even The Rock himself posted it.
Mm-hmm.
For the upcoming Black Adam movie that we've been talking about for the last 10 years, it feels like. We have, of course, got the confirmation that the Justice Society was going to be appearing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the heroes? Or do we count them as antagonists because the movie's about Black Adam? Because they're technically superheroes, but we're focusing
I have
on...
no clue.
You know what I mean? Apparently, Hawkman is definitely going to be one of the characters, and he has been cast as Aldous Hodge.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know this guy at all.
Also,
I
for those
don't
of you who've seen
recognize him
Straight Outta
anything.
Compton, which is the retelling of NWA, I believe, he plays
Yeah.
MC Ren. He's also in the remake of Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And he's played on a lot of TV shows. He actually played on Black Mirror, a couple episodes.
Oh, really? He was in Black Mirror as well? Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a
I
handful
knew
of
the
stuff he's
Invisible
done.
Man. I didn't know about Straight Outta Compton, and I didn't know about the Black Mirror one. But yeah, I'm all for this. And I'm going to say this as well. See if you're one of these people out here that's complaining that somebody cast a black actor to play Hawkman because he's white in the comics. Get over yourself. There's two storylines for Hawkman that usually come to the forefront. He's either an alien, he's an alien Birdman, or he's a reincarnated Egyptian, deity, spirit, whatever. Reincarnated, you could possibly be black. Alien, why not take on the form of a black person? Why not?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. If you want stuff to complain about in movies, there's plenty of stuff to complain about in superhero movies. Trust me, we're going to get into some that have got complaints. It's like, I'm all for this. I don't know the guy's work that well. He's not an actor I've seen in things
from what
that
I've seen,
often.
he's really good from what I've seen. So.
But I'm all for it. I don't have an issue with it of saying oh no, I'm not happy with that cast. I'm like, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Shows what you got playing this Birdman. And I'm like, if your biggest issue with Hawkman is this guy playing him, I'm like, you've clearly never read the comics. The guy's got 15 backstories that they, I think what one was it? Was it Zero ever tried to take part of that comic to fuse them all into one backstory, and it still didn't work. And it's like,
yeah, I honestly
they still
think
don't know what to do with them.
I honestly think most of the people complaining about that just don't know a lot about Hawkman. So I don't know about a whole lot.
Nobody knows a lot about
really.
Hawkman. He's not that popular a character where we should be complaining about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's if you want to get into a bit of more popular character, fair enough. But it's Hawkman.
Yeah.
Anything they do must be better than what we're getting in the comics. It's this guy.
It's gonna be good, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
I'm up for this. We've got Hawkman. We know that we're going to get other JSA members in it, and we've got The Rock playing Black Adam. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
As long as this leads to Black Adam fighting Shazam at some point, I'll go along with the ride.
Absolutely.
All right, but that, my friends, is the end of the news. I only know Hawkman from Legends. Literally, if you could literally ask about 10 different comic book fans Hawkman's backstory, and you would get about 10 different answers, and they're all right. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a character in comics that's got that messed up a history as Hawkman does, to be completely honest. I don't know what they were thinking about him, but
One more thing that I did want to mention, totally not Hawkman related, was they announced that they're going to start filming for Moon Knight.
Yes, thank you.
Before end of year.
I meant to put that in the notes and I forgot.
That's all good. So there's talks, I think semi-serious talks of Keanu Reeves being the lead.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for someone in their 40s to 50s who's a weathered mercenary-ish type. And I'm going to be honest. This is me being honest. I love Keanu Reeves as an actor. I feel like he might be a tad old for this role, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in the role at all.
You know what? I'm willing to give it a go. I'm like, this was a guy who everyone wrote off as this crap actor who like literally has
including me.
who has
Yeah,
yeah,
including
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you watch like even if you go back as far as stuff like the Matrix movies, he is not good in them. I'm sorry, he's not.
He's not that great. He plays the part good, but like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's like, you know what I mean though. It's like it's one of those things of like, but like him playing this, the way he's had this renaissance with his career, like coming back to play for Bill and Ted, coming back to be John Wick. Because this movie had no right to have a sequel and has had a trilogy at this point because of how good he played the character.
Mm-hmm.
The Michael Scott thing is another example of why the bandwagon is mostly unreliable.
You had Michael Scott ad.
Michael Scott for president.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, like I'm all for Keanu Reeves to play this, and the fact that this is going to possibly start filming by the end of the year, and I'm like, okay, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm
cool with him playing Moon Knight or Ghost Rider. Either one. I don't give a rip. So he was good as Constantine. I didn't know a lot about Constantine.
I think he done a decent job with what he was given. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. There is major issues with that. Matt Ryan is 100% my Constantine. Like, watch him in the show or watch him in the CW stuff. He's pretty much got Constantine down pat, like, for what he's meant to be. But like literally, Keanu did a good job with what he was given. I just think the movie's a bad movie. Yeah. Personally, like, is written badly and is directed badly. You could only do so much with that one. So 100% that is not his fault.
I really liked the conversations that he had between like him and the devil, him and Lucifer, and then him and Gabriel. I thought those were like really cool, like conversations that he had. But
yeah, there's some interesting stuff that happened in it. But like, yeah, I'm down for him playing Moon Knight. 100%.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail. Like I always do.
Thanks for throwing it in, man. I completely forgot about that one. I was saying Matt Ryan is the perfect Constantine. Anyone who says different, fight me.
I say Shia LaBeouf.
Don't you start? No, you can't cast Shia LaBeouf in everything. One, because it's not possible, and two, because he sucks at most things. He has a niche little market.
How dare you?
He has a niche little thing, and we're going to keep him there because he does well. And when he tries to branch out, he bombs.
I don't know if I can be friends with you, Cross.
The man got himself
in this relationship.
The man got himself tattooed up to the nines for a film that bombed and didn't make any money.
Hey, that's commitment. All right.
That's craziness, is what that is. That's not commitment. That's being a nutter.
I think that's the first time I ever heard you call somebody a nutter. That's awesome.
I'm like, legitimately, he got himself tattooed up to the nines, and like, in the movie bombed. At least make sure you're doing a well-end movie that you're going to get some sort of, big payoff for if you're going to fucking tattoo yourself for real. You know what I mean? It's like, but anyway, so that is the news for this week. We are going to jump into some shout-out stuff before we get into our main topic for today. Even Stevens with Shiloh's only decent show. 100% agreed. Whatever Nitro says in response is wrong.
I'm not saying anything.
Comments across, that's how Hollywood works. If you don't want, well, you'll get pushed out for a certain amount of time. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like you do something bad, you go into the, you go to the naughty step for a little bit, or the timeout box until things go better. Pretty much. Alright, so let's do some shout out stuff for this then. So first of all, want to do a massive shout out to our sponsors, Gamer Grind Co. Drinking some Gamer Grind coffee right now. Their campaign was the recent one they sent out to me. Absolutely amazing coffee. We've been sponsored by them since pretty much day one, and I cannot tell you the amount of love we have gotten from them as a company. They have worked with us so well and been so such a blessing to us. Gamer Grind, if you're watching, 100% reach out to me when your coffees become available. I want a Comics in the Cross coffee. Comics in the Cross coffee is going to be happening, and I already have a name for it. It's going to be up and away.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
But if you guys want to pick up some of this amazing coffee for yourself, for Gamer Grind, as it's up there, right above Nitro, go ahead and click on that link and you can pick up a bag for yourself. I think what I do for my buying of it is literally you can part of a set, like it's a monthly renewal thing, and they send me out a random bag every month. So you get to try and taste the different coffees and different things like that. So you get a little bit of flavour for everything. They've been really good working with me to help me like promote stuff. Like when I've tried most of I get the 16 sounds bags, you can get 10 or 16. When I get that sort of stuff, when they ran out of trying flavors, they started sending me some of the sponsored streamers that they've got, like bags and stuff. Even though they're smaller, they sent me a couple of those to try. They've worked with us so well, made us into our partnership program. So I cannot sing their praises enough. Great coffee, great company. Yeah. Click on that
And they
link.
sponsored us very early on in this
Yeah,
podcast.
like
So they've been with us for
sponsored
a
us from
while.
like day one. Like we've had a
Yeah.
sponsorship in this show pretty much since the beginning, like March, April
Mhm.
time. And like they took a chance on us and saying that they would sponsor us. We were nobodies. We didn't. I mean, we've got like just over 200 followers now, and thank you
Yeah.
for following us, all you crazy people that want to listen to us rant about stuff. But like they didn't have to do that, and they did, and they have helped us so much all the way. That's one of the nicest smells. So yeah, well, there you go, Ad. You can buy a bag and just sit and sniff it, and that'll get you through your day. You know.
There you go. Just keep it open on your desk and just lean into it.
But if you click on that link, not only can you get some amazing coffees, but we do have some merchandise available there. It's not our main store. We do have a main store for like clothing and different things like that. But you can go and get a Comics in the Cross coffee mug and sticker officially put on there. And again, that's another massive shout out to them. We put in for that coffee mug and they gave us a sticker along with it.
Yeah.
Onto the store. That didn't cost us anything extra. They have been a blessing to us. They really have. I cannot sing their praises enough. And all you other coffee companies that keep sending me follow requests trying to get me to get sponsorships, like, no, these are the guys. 100% gamer grind. Yeah, check them out, Demented. Like, I guarantee you'll like them. My favourite ones that I've gotten so far, I think, are Kill Streak, Headshot, and Campaign are probably my three big ones. And you can also get medium roast. They also have like Dark Op. Is it Dark Ops? I think it is. It's like their dark roast one. You can get lighter roasts. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there, so definitely check them out. If you do want to get some more merchandise, you can head over to our Teespring store and pick up some Comics in the Cross merch. We have t-shirts, we have leggings, we have kids tees and baby onesies. We also now have hoodies available and zippers available on the store. They have been added on there. It's now fall time coming into winter. You want to rep and get a Comics in the Cross hoodie or zipper, then they are available with the Comics in the Cross logo on it. And also as well, I threw it up for the hell of it. I don't know if you guys want it, but there's phone cases up there. It's only up there in white at the minute with the logo on it because it was having issues loading colours, but I'm going to see if I can get more colours on it.
Check out the leggings. Leggings, people. Leggings.
Yeah, check out those leggings, man. Nitro loves the leggings. That's what he lounges in.
Yep, I'm wearing them right now.
But you want to represent Comics in the Cross and help throw a little bit of money our way to keep the podcast going, by all means, go and check out our store. Another way to keep us supported is to go and click on that link there and follow us on Patreon. Our Patreon, you can follow us there for $2 a month to support the channel. As I said before, we don't want money in that way. We don't need money. No leggings. I don't know, Demented. You might look good in a pair of leggings, man. Don't knock them till you've tried them, you know. Nitro was not a leggings man, and now that's all he wears.
Yeah, it's true. It's a true story.
But yeah, you can follow us on Patreon and support the channel. Any money goes towards helping us here, helping us grow our streams, our platforms, helping us to buy more games that we can do on stream. We're going to start trying to get more gaming streams done, update our equipment, get more stuff so we can get Nitro doing some art streams. All of this stuff is in the works. So anything you give to us on Patreon is absolutely appreciated. But no, we are not asking for money and like you need to do this to keep this show going.
Yeah, we're not going to hold this show hostage or anything.
We're going to be here regardless. So like, thank you all just for showing it up and just loving on us. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you want to also catch up on any of our previous shows, including last week's show where we talked about the X-Men movies and all of our previous early 2000 superhero movie stuff, you can go ahead and click on the YouTube link there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we're at like 40 subscribers right now.
Nice.
So everyone who's hit subscribe on there, thank you for that. All of our stuff gets
Dude, that's
archived
awesome.
over there, so thank you for that. And then obviously go ahead and follow us on social media and on Discord to keep up the conversations. I think in some of our social media we're hitting close to like 300 on Instagram and Twitter, so thank you for everyone that's came and done that and just supported us on every medium. Like, it's crazy, like, to see how many people are following us and on here on Twitch and on social media. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
I definitely don't take it for granted.
You know, like, don't get me wrong, you have the big dreams when you do this of thinking, like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do good and we're going to make big and we're going to get all these people following us. But honestly, it's so amazing and so humbling when people actually do follow you. Because you're like, wow, people are actually showing up, and it's greatly appreciated. It really is. All right, but I think that's all that stuff out the road. Just two last things to kind of mention before we jump in. As you can see, there is a bar below us here on stream. Road to 15 subs in our Stan Lee emote. Excuse me, I'm burping like crazy off of that coffee there. We are, of course, trying to get up to 15 subs on the channel. 15 subs during, of course, it is September, where it is discounted prices on everyone that subs to the channel. I think it's like $3.99 for a month. It's like $7.99, I think it is for 2 months, and then like $20.99 for 6 months. So you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That'll help us not only grow, not only help fund the channel, but also if we hit 15 subs, it unlocks a brand new emote for us. Let me throw it up on the screen quickly.
We got emotes for days, people.
So you can see there, the tier 1 is the hype, which is the current emote there that we've got. That's already been approved and put in there. And then of course we have our tier 2 one, which is our POW emote. So if you subscribe for the tier 2, you also get some POW emotes. But the one we're looking to get is that Stan Lee emote, because anyone who subscribes to the channel isn't just part of the Comic Clan, they are part of the Stan Clan.
That's right.
Our Super Stan here. So we thought best way to represent one of our heroes in comics, Stan Lee, and people who are part of the Stan Clan,
R.I.P.
give them a Stan Lee emote. And it's like, and yes, R.I.P. to the living legend that was Stan Lee for like 95 years and still kicking it, man.
Yeah.
He's a legend. It's amazing he lasted as long as he did and was doing all the stuff he was doing. So rest in peace, sir. Amazing life and well lived. And then of course, let me throw it up here, the link to our book club. We are of course going to be starting, we've talked about it for a few weeks, our indie comic book club. We're inspired by One Geek 411, where they've started a book club and started talking about it on their podcast. I thought, why don't we do that with some indie comics? Because I've been starting to explore the world of indie comics. Nitro's not really dove into the world of indie comics. I thought, why not do that and do a book club and talk about it? And so in that link, that is going to be the constant link for our book club. Every time we start a new book, I will add it to the list. Right now there's only one on there because we're on our first one. So you can go ahead there and get the link, and we are actually going to be talking about Lock and Key. Demented, thank you so much for that 100 bits, sir. That is absolutely appreciated. Thank you so much for that, man. That's another way you can support the channel, is by dropping those amazing bits. So 100 bits to us, we greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for dropping hard-earned cash or hard hours churning away at ads trying to get bits to cheer. Either way, we appreciate it greatly. But yeah, so our first book we're going to be looking at is Lock and Key.
Just ordered it, by the way, like literally like 5 seconds ago. So
sweet.
Sorry for that.
So Lock and Key, written by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, great horror author himself. Yes, that's Stephen King, and artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez. Absolutely phenomenal book. I have read this myself before, so I thought this would be a great one. Also, now a Netflix show, so if you have Netflix, there's a Lock and Key show on there, but the comic does vary from it greatly.
Okay.
The artwork and the story and everything is just beautiful. I absolutely adore it. It's just such a great story. I've read the first one and I'm excited to get into the rest of the series. The series is now complete, so I'm excited to kind of read through it and see what's to come. But like, yeah, this is like the perfect book to start off. Like, if you guys, even if you're not doing it for the book club, go ahead and save a link to Lock and Key. And like, if you want to see what indie comics are like and get away from just Marvel and DC, if you're interested, then this is one of the ones you have to pick up. I've heard tons of like big comic book names like speaking highly about this. Some saying it's their favorite comic period, and it's 100%. It's probably my favorite indie comic, if not one of my favorite comics ever. Like, I am so hyped for the rest of the series. So whenever Nitros comes in,
Should come in on Thursday.
So we'll probably not this coming week then, but depending how quickly we can read it, I'd love to do it maybe the following week, or the week after that, just one of the first weeks in October. And just because obviously, as I said last week, I'm going to be taking the last week of October and November off, because I've got a baby coming.
What?
Yep. I may have mentioned it once or twice. So I need to be basically available to take care of my wife, to take care of the new baby, and take care of the other kids who are going to be running about crazy.
Yes.
So, but I want to get us kicked off because, like, I've told Nitro I'm not going to say what it is on stream, but I've got an idea for a good one for Christmas for our for the book club, and I'd really love to get Lock and Key done before I leave, and then have that for when we come back.
All right.
and get into book club for that one. I kind of want to say what it is, but I kind of don't want to spoil it yet. Should I say what it is?
I'm gonna be honest. I totally forgot what you said, so it'll be a surprise to me too.
All right, I'll say it then, since apparently Nitro's forgotten as well. So we want to do Lock and Key first, but to tie in with it being Christmas time, I want to do Claus,
Oh, that's right.
which is like a gritty Grant Morrison retelling of like the origin of Santa Claus,
I love it.
which is freaking
It's
amazing.
perfect.
The story
perfect.
is phenomenal, and I'm like, yeah, with it being coming up in December, that has to be done. Like one of the first weeks of December. Like we have to pick that up in October, November, so that we can do it in December. Like
Dude, that's perfect.
has to be done.
While
yeah.
Cross is out, I'll probably be doing some art streams too. So
Yeah, Nitro will be doing some art streams. If he wants to get any guests on, we'll have a look and see if we can nab some people to come and do some stuff and talk to him.
Yeah.
It might even do some gaming streams if we can get your PlayStation working this time after whatever the heck happened last
oh my
time.
gosh, I'm so scared to do it now. Like,
Just do it for your PC. Just play like Destiny or something if you need to.
yeah, I might do that.
Or buy Minecraft and get some training in for when we do our Minecraft server.
Right.
Because I bought Minecraft and apparently I'm already getting requests for like a Comics and the Cross Minecraft server. So I'm thinking me and Nitro need to go into Minecraft together and try and not die. Like go in like hardcore mode or something like that and just see how long
Oh
we
my
can
gosh.
survive.
We should time it.
It's time it who dies first and who dies quickest. It will not last long.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so if you guys want to go and pick up Lock and Key, click on that link. I'm going to go ahead and add Claus to that today, so I'll probably add that on after the stream just so it's there if people want to nab that one as well. Anything to go with that, Demented, or just M?
It's like paying F, like typing F for. Oh, Minecraft is fun.
Minecraft. Oh, M for Minecraft. Okay, yeah. Like I literally just downloaded it for the PC like this week, because I now finally have a PC that can run games, so I finally am able to actually get it. And I'll kid you not, I must have spent hours yesterday just grinding away on it. I find it so relaxing. It's just so easy to get lost in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like I died
Exactly
so many
why I
times.
haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I died so many times, but it was fun. By the way, FYI, if anyone knows how to make Minecraft skins and wants to make a skin of like so I can have me with like a fedora, then I'm all for that. Alright. But anyway, I think that's covered everything. We have ranted a lot already.
A lot.
Now for the real ranting. Okay, we are finally getting into today's topic.
Ugh.
Wow, we're at an hour already. Dang, we ranted a lot today. Half of that was the news, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we are continuing our look at the early 2000s superhero movies. We decided to start delving into the pre-MCU superhero movies. We've done
Arguably the best era of comic book movies out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Arguably.
you can't argue that,
Arguably.
man. It's like it's just facts,
Yeah.
But we've talked
Hashtag
about
facts.
like Spider-Man trilogy. We've talked about Fantastic Four movies, and we talked about Daredevil and Elektra. And then last week we finally dove into the X-Men movies. X-Men 1 and 2 was a decent one, but like this is the big one.
Yeah.
Talking about X-Men: The Last Stand.
This was their Avengers. This
And
was their
X-Men
Avengers
Origins.
Endgame. Yeah.
Like this was like the ending of a trilogy. So like the first three were like this was set as a movie.
Yeah.
So
This was the beginning of the end for this era of comic book movies, because I think a year later Spider-Man 3 came out, which obviously we all know how that ended. And then a year after that Iron Man came out.
yeah,
So
like,
this was like the finale of that era.
yeah, like X-Men: The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Spider-Man 3, I think, officially ended this era of superhero movies
Yeah. Yeah.
with three very direct stabs to the chest. Just put it
Yeah.
down. So will we start with The Last Stand then? The
Yeah,
first
let's
one
do
that
it.
came out. Following on, we're not going to like recap the previous movies or anything. You can go watch our podcast to catch that over on YouTube. But let's just dive into this, because this is a combination of everything we've seen in the previous movies. This was this was the finale. We're coming into a world where Jean Grey died, like trying to save the X-Men, and was like washed away, but we got the hint of the Phoenix. What happened to Nightcrawler? Yeah, Nightcrawler
That's a good question.
just left. Although I
Can
don't
you
know, because you can only have one blue furry member of the X-Men team per movie, apparently, because we lost Nightcrawler, but we got Beast.
Beast was sweet. Beast was probably one of the better part of the movies.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Kelsey Grammer as like Hank McCoy Beast is possibly one of the best comic book movie castings ever.
Ripped straight out of a comics
He-
/ animated TV show.
He was
He looked
perfect.
exactly like him.
The look of him was perfect. The
Yeah.
way he carried himself, the dialogue. I am not going to lie. He was probably. That's the thing about this movie. Like, don't get me wrong. This is an awful movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there are
Atrocious.
some really great highlight points in it. And, like, Beast is, like, 100%. In terms of. See, when you look at how bad, like, other characters are cast or written, like, we talked about Rogue. We talked about Storm. We've talked about Cyclops. We talked about Jean Grey. It's like. Either they were cast badly or they were written badly or both.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Beast. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfection. Possibly the best cast character following like Xavier and Magneto for
Yeah,
these
I agree.
movies. Like he's like spot on.
And like you wouldn't think, oh, the dude from what was it, Frasier? The dude, yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Cheers too, right? Yeah,
Yeah, the guy
like,
from Cheers
him
and
as
Frasier,
Beast,
like
this
him as
Hank McCoy.
and it's like but Kelsey
makes sense.
Grammer
But it
absolutely
worked.
rocked it. So
It
it's
worked,
like
man.
shout out to him. He did perfect. Like every part of this for him was like awesome. But yeah, so let's delve into this. The world has evolved since the last we seen it. The last we seen it was the X-Men appearing in the president's office and scaring him to make an announcement detesting all mutants because that's not terrifying.
Yeah,
Following that though, we're in a world where we see Beast, one of the first ones we see, who's like actually in politics now and has actually got direct contact with the president. We've gone from trying to like kill all mutants to trying to help them.
yeah,
Because we're now looking at creating a cure.
yeah. And that's one cool aspect of the movie. I like that, and having the mutants have to each individually have to deal with that decision. Do I do this or do I not do that?
That's a great story, and that's one that's ripped right out of like the comics. Want a story ripped right out of the animated movie or the animated TV show, or the fact of like, what do you do? And I'm like, and they actually play it really well at some points.
Yeah, like with Angel, like his dad. I forgot his dad was a politician, right? And he had him like basically strapped to a table, like getting ready to administer the.
Yeah, but like
There
even
was
even the X-Men's discussion about it, like Storm's almost like offended.
Yeah,
The fact of like trying to heal them of of their powers because it's part of who they are, and then you get like Rogue who plays up the fact of like she wants to get rid of her powers.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, she wants to get rid of her powers just so she can bang her boyfriend because
yeah, pretty much.
because he starts to get close with Kitty Pryde because why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's the last in this trilogy. Let's make that a thing.
What are we missing in this movie? Love triangle. There we go.
Yeah, love triangle with characters we spend barely any time with.
We killed Cyclops, so we gotta have another.
We killed
love triangle.
Cyclops, and
Oh, there we go.
And Jean's gone until he's basically dead. So it's like
Yeah.
we can't do that love triangle anymore for the start of this. So let's make a new one.
Yeah.
But they actually play it really well. The fact of like that every mutant has to kind of come to their own decision. They have to come to their own decision of like, do I get the cure, or do I not? Do I get rid of my powers? Like, is this a disease that needs to be cured?
Yeah.
Or is this like a fundamental part of who I am?
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about that question is that there's no definitive factor in it.
Yeah.
Because every mutant's different. Every mutant's adjustment and reaction to stuff is different.
Yep.
So it's like, it's like somebody like Storm who's got this really cool way of controlling the weather. Or, like Wolverine with his amazing healing factor and is like 200 plus years old.
Yeah.
Against someone like Rogue who can't even touch someone. Not really. And it's like, and you don't understand how big a deal that is until you really think about like not physically touching another person skin to skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how many issues that causes just in simple, like, just to feel that reassurance of my wife walking up behind me and just putting her hand on me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just one of those things of like, there's so many factors in that. Or like, what about we've seen other mutants who just like combust?
Yeah.
Or mutants who are dangerous. Legitimate dangers to humanity. That like, what do you do? Because you can't even freaking contain them. It's like, there's a lot of great questions in that. And it'd be really great if they focused on that for a chunk of this movie, but that's basically the background story of what's going on.
One of the cool spots in dealing with that specific topic for the movie was when Mystique got hit with the serum basically, and she reverted back to a human, and Magneto basically just walked away from her. So I was like, holy
Okay,
cow,
like
dude,
first of all, we can't even go into that without saying the fact of like one of Magneto's best scenes, or two of his best like power scenes, happen in this movie, and one of them is that point when he goes to free Mystique. And he literally just like crushes cars and throws them to the side.
Dude, that
and
was
flips
awesome. He
that
just
truck.
flips the truck. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
just like
dude.
puts his hands out and stops the back of it, and it's like
That was awesome.
like
That was
okay,
awesome, dude.
I don't care what anyone says, that was amazing.
Yeah,
but I
but
love.
it's cool seeing his interaction with her after that happens. He's like, I don't even have time for you right now. So it basically, so you go into the first and second movie thinking that he just wants equality, like he wants them like to just be able to exist. But it's not that. It's he wants them to be superior to humans, and he thinks they are.
His bigotry and his hatred for humanity comes through so much in that moment, because like she has been at his side. She is the only person that's been at his side for all three movies at this point. And she has been there. She has helped him when he was weak. She has stood by him. She has supported him in everything. And the moment she turns into a human, he looks at her with such disgust.
Yeah.
And literally turns his back on her and walks away with Pyro, who he was with, and then all these new mutants he's acquired, like Jamie Madrox is in there, Juggernaut's in there, all these other mutants that they've just acquired.
Let's be honest, it's a version of the Juggernaut.
Can I say the line on here and still be family friendly?
No. No, you
I'm
can't.
the Juggernaut. The meme that was literally put into the movie and became a bigger meme because of it. It was like, oh my god.
Dude, this entire movie is a meme.
Oh yeah, 100%. By the way, it's like, see the time when I first watched this, I was like, I didn't understand who Jamie Madrox was, and like watching this back, it's like I am so mad that he got wasted in a role like this. Jamie Madrox is a freaking amazing member of X Factor.
Who is he again?
Multiple Man.
No. Oh,
the guy that multiplies himself. If you look into his character, he's low key became like one of my favorite X-Men characters. Just like go and read like X Factor when they become like detectives and stuff, like Private Eyes and like New York and stuff. It's like, it's so random and cool, but it's like, yeah, he's a throwaway character. Juggernaut's literally there to chase Shadowcat at one point.
Dude, and it's the worst.
Literally all he does. Oh no, sorry. He does have one more amazing scene where he literally, when they go back to Jean Grey's house, when she's like Dark Phoenixed up, he throws Wolverine up through the roof, and he goes up through another wall and through the roof into the other room. Like he literally arcs through about 4 rooms in the house, and I'm like, okay, that was pretty funny.
I feel he's played by Vinnie Jones, who plays basically the same character in every single movie.
Why?
Like every single movie.
Who looked at Vinnie Jones and thought that's the casting for Juggernaut of all people?
And then the costume, his makeup or whatever, the suit that they had on him was just.
He doesn't even have a
awful.
suit. He's just like, it's his muscle, and then he's got this weird
awful,
like metal helmet, and I'm like, no, no, he's not just a big buff mutant. It's like he's not even technically a mutant.
Isn't he Xavier's brother, right?
He's Xavier's brother. He's not even technically a mutant. It's a crystal that gives him his power. It's like no, he's just a big buff mutant.
Yeah, you missed the whole reason for him existing. It's kind of the same thing with Quicksilver in the new X-Men movies. You know, where they're not even hinting at his relationship with his dad, his Magneto.
Oh no, they do. They hint a whole once.
Once. Very, very, very like tip of the cap. But I'm talking like, you know what I mean.
What I'm saying, his mom slept with a guy that was a really powerful mutant. That wasn't enough of a hint to you that Magneto was his dad.
No, it wasn't.
No. But yeah, it's.
So can you explain?
There's some awful stuff in this.
They obviously hint at the Dark Phoenix storyline, and so for the uninitiated, can you like briefly like explain what that is, myself included, because I never read that growing up. So can you kind of?
Yeah. Did you notice Fat Boy Slim Mutant? What were you talking about, ads? I'm trying to think. Can I sum up Dark Phoenix and how wrong they got it in this movie? I don't think. I don't think.
My understanding is that the Phoenix Force is like an alien life force.
The Phoenix Force is like I don't want to say it's an alien entity, but it's almost like it's a constant of the universe. Like, see, like the constants like eternity and all that sort of stuff. The Phoenix Force is like one of those beings. one of these all-powerful creatures of the galaxy,
Hmm.
who isn't even in this movie.
They used her alter ego, her dark side as the Phoenix Force,
Oh yeah,
as opposed to an external entity.
It's not an entity. It's a split personality that
Yeah.
Charles Xavier has been suppressing for all this time.
Yeah.
And she just goes a bit mad. Like, 'cause let's talk about that first of all. Okay, Jean.
She goes a bit mad, and she always has backlighting. Those are two important points.
Yeah, she always has
Backlighting,
backlighting, and then when she gets really, really dark, her face goes like one of those scary, like PG-13 horror movie. Like,
yeah,
it's all
yeah,
black
and her
with
eyes
her
turn black. So this, she's the Phoenix when she has the backlighting. Her face goes scary PG-13 horror movies, and her eyes go black. It's so bad.
I don't know if I can even talk about it. It's so bad. All right. So Phoenix was an entity, like, and I'll point this out right now. The Phoenix has nothing to do with Jean. The Phoenix Force has taken over multiple people. There's been multiple Phoenix hosts. Even in, like, when they done it not too long ago, they done a Jean Grey book about the young Jean Grey in the comics who came forward in time. She meets all these other people who have held the Phoenix Force. There's a ton of mutants that have held it.
Mm-hmm.
Go read Avengers vs. X-Men. It's freaking split between 5 of them at one point. It's like, so it's nothing to do with Jean herself. Jean is just the best entity for it to be hosted within. And there's this whole weird thing about her being killed, and she's actually not dead. She's in a cocoon that it's kept her in at the bottom of the ocean. But I'm not going to go into all of that because I don't have time. But basically, this force turns her into this all-powerful being. Phoenix and Dark Phoenix are not the same thing. Dark Phoenix is something that she becomes.
Okay.
Phoenix is like this all-powerful entity, but she ends up basically going corrupt, and there's whole stuff in the comics of her like destroying like a planet and a whole civilization. So like the Shi'ar Empire are after her because of it. They spend like decades chasing her for that one. She ends up like teaming up with the Hellfire Club at one point because she thinks she's meant to fit with them, and the whole stuff with Madeline Pryor, her duplicate, and all this stuff is like, the Phoenix Force is an amazing, powerful entity in the universe that could literally destroy everything. It's not evil, but it's powerful. It's not officially good or evil. It's not assigned to either side.
Okay.
But in this movie, even though at the end of X2, we see the Phoenix bird like shadow on the water, she's not dead. She's coming back as the Phoenix. Phoenix is not an entity that takes over her. Phoenix is a dark part of her, and we get hints at that at the start when we see Xavier and Magneto going to see her as a little girl, and Xavier wants to help her control this power, and Magneto wants to unleash it.
Yeah.
But Xavier does. He helps her like push it all down and push it all away, and like so she can just be Jean Grey. And then apparently she gets drowned, and it awakens it. Apparently water's the key to awakening the dark side of her, because she gets dunked in that what is now a river or a lake, and now she's evil.
That's all it took. Just baptism. That's all it took.
And also as well, can I point out as well the fact of like the Dark Phoenix Jean Grey is like horny as, by the way, for like the first part of her appearance in this movie.
Yeah. She
like practically chews Cyclops' face off to the point of like it overloads him with energy and he blows up.
Yeah.
Like that's how he dies.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers for like a 10, 15-year-old movie.
Oh man.
But like it's like okay. And then like,
well, he was useless anyway, so it didn't really matter if he was dead.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, Cyclops is dead. He did nothing for 3 movies.
So it has no emotional impact whatsoever.
The leader of the X-Men is dead. I mean, like, what happened in the first 2 movies? Well, he was incapacitated and tied up or turned against the X-Men.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he did nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So literally killing Cyclops means nothing in this movie, except that they were in a relationship, apparently. So...
There's that.
So then Xavier feels that happening, feels him dying or something happening, so he sends Wolverine and Storm there, and they find Jean and bring her back to the X-Mansion. During all of this, Wolverine is left alone to care for her. She wakes up and decides that she wants to be horny with him as well.
Yeah.
Which he says no to. not gonna lie, kind of surprised the way that they've been playing Wolverine in this. I'm surprised he said no. I'm guessing because it's still like PG-13 as well, but
Yeah.
to which she then apparently doesn't take no as a great answer, launches him across the room and starts breaking her way out of the mansion. For some reason, following that, she goes back to her childhood home, as we talked about. Xavier takes some of the X-Men there. Magneto, now with his new array of Brotherhood, because he went and got the ones that were with Mystique, but also goes to a church and manages to enlist all these mutants who are mad because they think the humans are trying to wipe them out because of the cure. See, look, the cure's still a part of this.
There's a through line. It's a through line.
We've not forgotten about it, we promise.
When it serves the plot, it's a through line. What?
Yeah, which is like 3 times in this movie, something like that. So they all end up converging there. They have a massive fight. Dark Phoenix goes crazy and blows up Xavier. For some reason, she's mad at Xavier and the X-Men, but she's not mad at Magneto, so Magneto's able to leave with her.
This uncontrollable deadly force, and she's just like, yeah, I'll go with you. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, and see, like, the couple of lines of dialogue she's had so far? I hope you liked those, because it's, like, all she speaks for, like, the next, like, hour.
Yeah.
Or longer, or even till the end of the movie. I don't even know if she properly speaks again that much.
Yeah, I don't think she does.
How long do you think it would take Mystique to regain her power?
Does she? Does she have, like...
I don't know, because, like, apparently if you... Okay, spoilers going right to the end, but, like, apparently, like, the cure doesn't even work because Magneto gets stabbed with, like, 4 needles, thanks to Beast.
Oh, that's right.
He loses his thing, and, like, one of the hints at the end is him, like, moving a chess piece.
That's
like,
right.
Ever so slightly.
He's in the park. That's right. I totally forgot
just
about this.
Ever so slightly, he moves a chess piece, and it's like, apparently the cure doesn't work, and they can get their powers back.
Question.
Because, like, well, he does, because, like, at the end of, like, the Wolverine, Professor Xavier, we're not even going to go into how he gets a body back, and Magneto, who's fully powered up, meet Wolverine and tell him they have to stop the Days of Future Past stuff. How did that happen? We're not going to ask. So yeah, like, I assume, like, I don't know how long it would take, but I assume Mystique would probably get her powers back, along with everyone, because apparently it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, they show up, he leaves with her, and Wolverine ends up going after them to try and save her, and he gets, like, thrown to the point he looks like Ash in the Evil Dead 2 when he, like, gets launched through the forest by the by the evil spirits, because Magneto just launches him backwards through trees.
Yeah.
What's
up with X-Men movies filming in forests, though? I feel like that's like every X-Men movie has to have a forest scene.
Because that's where all the X-Men stuff takes place. Don't you know? They're always in forests.
They're like, we're running out of money. We need somewhere to shoot. Let's just go over here in the woods.
You know what's amazing? They film in forests all the time, but yet never once did they do a Savage Land thing. They never went to like the place where all the dinosaurs and stuff are.
Oh yeah.
They never once did that, even though they film in forests constantly.
I mean, just think about it though. Like Logan, forest scene. X-Men First Class, Magneto, forest scene. You have this one, forest scene. You have Wolverine Origins, a forest scene.
Yeah, like X2 ends in the forest, like round about where the dam is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there is a lot of forests actually. That's weird. Maybe it's just cheap to film there. Maybe they found a.
I don't know why I noticed that earlier today, but I was like, yeah, there's a lot of forest scenes.
Anyways, yeah, that does happen a lot. But yeah, basically there's a whole bunch of crap that happens. We don't really get much going on. Like, there's mourning of Xavier and Cyclops and stuff like that. And okay.
Uh-oh.
Xavier's dead. Okay. Cyclops dead. Jean's went off and been evil. Rogue's away doing her thing of like getting the cure because she wants to get cured so she can be with Bobby, even though he's now flirting with Shadowcat, played by Ellen Page.
Mm-hmm.
Recast as Ellen Page, sorry, because she was played by another actress randomly in the other movie.
Yeah. So
much so that it was a blink and miss it moment practically. But is there really only 6 X-Men left? Because what is it, like Wolverine, Storm, Iceman, Shadowcat,
Colossus is in there, right?
Colossus, and Beast.
Yep.
That's the 6 that show up for the final fight.
Yep.
I'm sure there's more.
Angel's in the movie, but he's like a He's just there to add a little bit of emotion.
How is he
to
not
it.
involved in that fight? He even shows
Yeah.
up. He shows up. He saves his
He's
dad.
all uniformed out, right? He has that just hardcore black leather uniform that we love so much.
No,
right?
he doesn't have the uniform or anything. It's just him wearing pants and like he's bare chested. It's like apparently when he left, when he broke out, when they were trying to give him the cure, he just flew away and has been flying ever
that's
since.
That's right.
But he comes
I'm just
back
gonna
to
continue flying.
he comes back to save his dad, and then he flies away with his dad. And at no point does he help the X-Men. Nightcrawler is gone. It's like, oh my goodness! It's like. Oh,
But at the same time, they introduce so many characters in this movie that they don't really flesh out at all, except for gags. It's just like Toad in the other movie.
Oh yeah, it's like they don't flesh out any, and like even in previous movies, like think about all the X-Men with random powers and stuff that have appeared, and I'm like, there was no way to include any of them.
Yeah,
none. Like okay, but like that comes okay. This comes to another one of the coolest scenes in this movie. Another one of the cool ones of Magneto's powers, which is him basically, okay, Alcatraz is what's been transformed into this new facility to bring cures.
Yeah.
And we see Beast earlier in the movie coming there and finding out that it's a mutant that has the ability. That's where they're getting the drug from. His ability is whenever a mutant comes near him, it nullifies their power. We see this by like Beast reaching his hand out and it literally turns into like a human hand.
Yeah.
So he's taking basically his army to kill this kid, which I love the hypocrisy and all the like his bigotry of like he has to stop this cure at the source, and the way to do that is to basically kill the kid that's responsible, even though the kid is a mutant himself.
Yeah.
So he like literally lifts up the bridge, he breaks it apart and like lifts it into
while
the
they're
air,
all on it. It's
while
so
they're
awesome.
all on it, and flies it over and lands it at Alcatraz, like with the end ramp in front of them going right onto the island.
Yeah,
It
it's so
is
sweet.
such a freaking cool shot.
The CGI is surprisingly good in this movie for something that's 14 years old. Like, I mean, for the most part, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. It still holds up today. It really does. It's so well done. And then honestly, we actually get a pretty decent fight scene. Like right up until
it's just filled with one-liners.
Yeah, until Shadowcat goes to get the kid and her run with Juggernaut, and then leading into like Jean going crazy. Like everything in front of that is actually really great because it's literally these 6 X-Men stepping forward in front of this army of mutants.
Yeah.
And just going at it. Just unleashing everything. Like Beast is like kicking people and swinging around things. Wolverine's gutting through people. Storm is like lightning bolts. We get to see Iceman and Pyro going head to head.
Yeah, he grabs his arms and cuts the fire off. That's so awesome.
It's like everything about it is so well done. Like it's a legitimately good scene.
Yeah.
And then like Shadowcat decides, okay, I need to go save the kid because she can run through the walls and get to him. And then Juggernaut is sent after her. Which I do kind of love the fact of like Juggernaut's sent first actually because she jumps in from behind, and I do love the fact that she like grabs him and pulls him into the floor. I do think that's very cool.
Yes,
just to try and stop him, and it's like, and then of course we get the meme line which I can't say because I'm trying to stay family friendly.
I'm Juggernaut, fam. That's what he says.
That's exactly what he says. So he starts,
and he says it just like that.
And I do kind of like the fact that like he starts like running through walls after her, that they're trying to show like he's like unstoppable going after her.
Yes.
To the point of like she gets the kid in the room and like they duck to the side and like of course it nullifies because his power is a mutant power in this, so it nullifies that and he just like head first into the wall and out cold. And I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of sweet. I do like that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was cool. That was clever.
But then like Jean decides to awaken.
Just go ham.
I don't know if it's before she does this or I think it is before it. Like Beast like stabs Magneto as well with a cure. Like there's cure weapons and stuff, and Beast ends up stabbing Magneto.
Well, and then Magneto goes, "What have I done?" When he sees like Jean like killing all these people, I'm like, "What did you think was gonna happen?"
I'm like, this isn't new. You've seen her doing this before. You literally watched her blow up a man that you consider possibly your best friend.
Yeah.
You know how powerful she is, and like, at what point did you think you had control of this? She just goes off kilter with it, and then of course, like everyone, you see people getting obliterated, turned to atoms round about her. Wolverine, of course, is the only one that can get close because he's the only one that can heal.
Yeah. That scene, all right. So I will say that scene is awesome.
Yeah, I was going to
Like,
say, you
where he's,
finally put.
You can see his healing ability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You finally used him in the proper way in this. It isn't just like the Wolverine show. Like, this one actually makes sense.
Yeah.
And he goes up and manages to reawaken Jean long enough to stab her, and has to kill her himself.
Yeah.
You know.
That's actually a heartbreaking scene.
Yeah, and it's
because
like,
I think Hugh Jackman does a fantastic job with that specific scene.
Oh yeah, he does great in that. It's like it's done well. And then of course we get the wrap ups of like the school kind of back up and running. Wolverine stands on the balcony, that kind of thing of like, am I in charge now? Is that what's happening? I don't know. Am I in charge?
Oh, dude, total shout out, Danger Room. The movie opens with the Danger Room.
Although I freaking hate the tease though.
I know, man, because I feel like when they're on the island,
like, did you like that Sentinel head? Because you're not going to see it again until Days of Future Past. And
I feel like the island would have been a perfect opportunity to show some Sentinels. I think Quill joins the list of pointless mutants as human porky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the human porky. It is the most random kill in the movie when he randomly hugs that doctor lady that's like with Angel's dad, and it just goes.
Yeah.
And like spikes her, and I'm like, your spikes don't even look like they're long enough to kill her. Is it just because of how many you stabbed her with? Or like, and then of course like we get the hints of Magneto moving, starting to move the chess piece, so his powers are coming back, and of course Xavier's alive.
Xavier's back
because
yay!
we do see Moira McTaggart in a brief cameo. I want to say cameo. Like talking about this guy whose apparently mutant ability is like he's technically alive but shows no sign of life. Basically, he's just an empty hollow shell of a body. Yeah. And Xavier planks himself in it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that's the end credit scene. And I'm like, where were you planning?
That's not weird.
Yeah, like where were you planning to go with that one?
I'm just gonna body snatch this dude.
And just one last thing to finish this up. We kind of mentioned him in part. Like, I honestly like what they do with Angel in this. I just wish they did more. Like,
I agree.
It's honestly heartbreaking at the start of this movie when you see this kid knowing his dad is against mutants, is literally taking a grater to his wings and trying to cut them back because he doesn't want to be a mutant. I'm like, that kid, I don't know who that kid is and if he went on to act in anything else, but his acting is phenomenal.
Dude, he's been in a lot of different things, and that's one of the dudes that I was when we had our Wolverine rant last week when I was talking about who could play a good Wolverine. Like,
oh no, I'm not even talking about the older one. I'm talking about the kid.
Oh, the kid.
The kid at the start. Like, see the amount of emotion that child has. His dad walking in and seeing him grating the wings away and feeling so terrified and so hurt and so. That kid is phenomenal. I hope he has an acting career after this, because if he can pull off that emotion as a kid, I can only imagine what he'd do with more training like that. And then the guy they picked to play Warren Worthington III, Angel, or Archangel as they called him in the credits. He's not Archangel. He's Angel at this point. Archangel has the metal wings and has been taken over by Apocalypse. Please, someone read a comic.
Ben Foster is his name.
Ben Foster, that's it.
Yeah. That's absolutely the guy I was talking about.
Perfect casting for Angel.
Killed it.
He was amazing.
Dude, he looked I'm a happily married man, but he looked spectacular. I'm just going to throw that there.
He said, I'm a happily married man. I'm like, okay, where are you going here? I just put family friendly on this. Please don't make me remove it.
But yeah, he was fantastic. I wrote in my notes, I said, what are the good things about this movie? And I said, Angel, ... kind of. I don't feel like there was enough of him in there.
No, Angel was amazing. Like that opening scene of that kid, and then him going in to get the cure, and deciding, no, I'm done, fleeing. How hard would it have been to have him show up at the mansion? My dad literally tried to give me the cure. I have nowhere else to go.
Dude, yeah, perfect.
And just have him join. I mean, come on, give him some credit. He's one of the original X-Men in the comics. The original 5. He's one of them. Have him there and have him.
He better be in the new MCU. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, it's like have him suit up, have him be part of it.
Yeah.
Have him be part of that final fight, and then like, because you could even have him like hear his dad screaming, and like that, look up and vroom, fly up, catch his dad, go and drop him off somewhere, and get back into the fight. I'm like, Angel is an amazing character. They could have done so much with him, and it's clear they didn't have a clue. And it's like, why include him? Because literally, when he leaves at the start, that's him gone.
Mm-hmm.
Until he comes back to save his dad, and then there's almost like an end credit thing of him flying like over the bridge at New York, one of the bridges, and it's like, have you just not stopped flying since you left there because you flew back and saved your dad, and now you're still flying? I have not seen you land.
Straight. I'm just gonna fly for 2 weeks straight. Ad says, I found out the purple-haired girl in The Last Stand is Cyclops. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know there was a purple-haired girl.
Psylocke? No.
Psylocke.
She's Psylocke? Really?
I gotta look it up.
No. Tell me they didn't try to put Psylocke in here.
I'm looking it up right now.
That one I did not know. That one I honestly did not.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, I need to... Give me a sec. I'm pulling up my thing. I need to look at this. Psylocke.
Yeah, wow. I did not know that. That's crazy.
She was meant to be Psylocke.
That's awful.
Oh my goodness. No. Never in a million years would I have imagined that. She's not even got a line. She's like a background character. Yeah. She's not even one of the ones that stands at the front and has an interaction with people. Like, she literally doesn't even have a line. This movie is horrendous. Don't get me wrong, I've talked about some great points in this. There are some stuff like Angel could have been amazing if they'd done stuff. Beast, one of the most perfect castings in comic book history. Magneto's powers going unleashed, and the way they played up the Cure storyline should have been amazing. The way they've done a lot of stuff should have been amazing. Legitimately though, this movie just is awful. It is badly written, it is badly directed, they didn't know honestly what they wanted to do with it. They completely butcher multiple X-Men storylines trying to crush them together.
I just think overall, it's like you said, like they didn't know what they wanted to do. The writing is pretty bad. It's filled with one-liners and just awful, corny dialogue. It feels like two separate movies. You have the first half and the second half. And they were like, I just don't think they knew what they wanted to do. So they tried to put everything in here. There's too much fan service. I'm all for fan service when it's done well. But, you know, like Captain America wielding Mjolnir, that's fan service done well. But when it, like something like this, where they're just trying to slam as much stuff into a movie just to do it, that's when it just goes down the crapper.
But it's like play it out properly though. Like, especially if you're adapting a storyline.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. They adapted in the MCU. They adapted Civil War. But they went, hey, where do our movies sit? Is this going to fit in this way? How can we do this properly?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and still also pay homage to the comic itself. With Dark Phoenix, it's literally like, we want to make Dark Phoenix like this.
Yeah.
Should we read the comic and find out how it's done? Nah.
No, we'll just do it our own way.
But yeah.
All right, we're 340.
Yeah. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. If you thought The Last Stand was bad and thought, oh my goodness, well that was awful, they couldn't get much worse from here, you were sadly mistaken.
Welcome to the Wolverine show.
Because they decided that, okay, let's take this back as well. This became like part of like a Wolverine like trilogy of movies.
And my understanding is that they were going to start doing like a set of origin movies for specific X-Men. That's what they were planning on.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Is like this became like a trilogy for Wolverine, although none of them really connect to each other. They're just random Wolverine movies. But this was actually meant to kick off an X-Men Origins like series of movies. I mean, there was talks for a long time of doing a Magneto one, which eventually became what we knew as First Class. They ended up evolving it into that, probably because of what happened in this one. But X-Men Origins, Chunk the Hut, hey Andy and Short Round. You're Short Round. Hey Chunk the Hut, how is it going, my friend? Massive shout out to Chunk the Hut. Pretty much a living VIP at this point. Amount of gifted subs he has handed out to this channel. Absolute legend. Thank you for popping in, my friend. You're just in time. We're just about to start talking X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yay.
Where do you even begin with this one? Like, where do you literally begin with?
Well, we could start with Hugh Jackman's perfectly coiffed hair in this movie because it's magnificent.
Hey, don't be talking down the hair. The hair's phenomenal. His hair has never been that poofy in his life. You know what I mean? Ooh.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's start with what they actually got right.
Did you call me Blob? Oh my goodness. Did you call me Blob? And I'm like, yes, because what he said sounded anything like the word Blob at all.
Let's just think about this for a second. What did they get right? Let me get my cricket sound effect out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. I think
Hugh
this is probably this is Electra level bad.
Hold on,
Like
I'm still thinking. Hold on.
I'll continue to talk as you think. But this is like borderline Electra level bad movie. Like everything that they could have gotten wrong, they got wrong.
I mean, like, someone had to approve this on so many levels, and I'm like, there's so many things wrong with this movie. Don't get me wrong, okay, the opening of it looked like it was going to be interesting. The opening looked like, because we get back to James Howlett, which they actually got right from the comics. For anyone that doesn't know, his name is James Howlett. He is, like, back from the 1800s. He's like a 200-year-old guy. Sabretooth is not his brother.
I was about to say he was on his brother in the comics.
But I can kind of see why they tried to do it that way, because let's be honest, we've seen Sabretooth once in these movies so far and he had no character. And I can see why, because like that beginning of Wolverine and his bone claws coming out and all that stuff is linked to a friend that he had who he had a rivalry with over a girl he liked and stuff. And I can see why they kind of tried to turn that into Victor Creed and try to turn that into his brother.
Yeah.
The war stuff at the start during the opening credits is pretty cool.
That was awesome. The opening was awesome.
Watching Hugh Jackman and Lee Schreiber like jumping into battle as Sabretooth and Wolverine and all these wars were actually decent. That actually looked pretty cool.
I like Lee Schreiber. I love him as an actor, but him as Sabretooth is freaking hysterical because he's literally got long nails and pointy teeth, like just little nubs of teeth.
Let me say this as well: like Lee Schreiber, I think could have been a good Sabretooth. I think he could have been, but like they didn't do enough with him. Like you said, they gave him like, oh, his claws extend out and he's got sharp teeth, and he has this like cat-like feeling and like running stuff that he does. And no, like he's went to this big bulking guy. You could easily have done something with that and made him this big monstrous thing.
Yeah.
Even have him turn into that later. Like maybe he is a kind of normal looking guy at first, and he like flips out and turns into this beast.
Yeah.
But Chunk saying nothing. They stitched Deadpool's mouth shut for goodness sake.
I find it funny.
The guy trying to call.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
dude. Somebody said, and here is what's his face? I forgot his name. The name of the actor playing Remy LeBeau, with a New Orleans accent by way of Houston. I was like, dude, that's perfect.
That's awesome.
Because it switches back and forth. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's so good though. It's so good to laugh at this stuff because like it is so bad. Like Lee Schreiber could have been a great casting for Sabretooth, but he was not done properly.
I just don't think they got they didn't get the design right.
Oh no, they didn't get the design right. Gambit is wrong on every level.
Yeah.
Like from the way he carries himself, his personality, they tried to make it Gambit, but it's not quite.
Yeah.
To like even the way that his powers are played out. It's almost like the shockwave thing that he does with the cards and then with his staff, and I'm like, that's not how that works.
I mean, that makes me a little bit depressed that they weren't able to go through with the Gambit movie, Channing Tatum, because I think he would have been able to do a really cool Gambit. Like, I think he has the size and the look for a Gambit.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have done it right, though. That's the thing. They wouldn't have written and directed it properly, because, you know how I know that? Because look at practically every X-Men movie.
It's true.
Like, okay, see, up to this point, they have an excuse almost, because the MCU didn't come and revolutionize stuff. We hadn't really had the Dark Knight, trilogy at this point that changed stuff. We had a lot of, we had this, superhero movie renaissance from, 2008 onwards, practically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where everything changed. So up to this point, it'd be like, okay, you've got an excuse to be bad, because we really didn't have anything better. Then after that, it was like, they kept making these awful movies, and I'm like, you know what fans want now. You literally don't have a choice.
The fact that this movie has been made fun of by other movies should stand to point that this movie is just awful.
To go into Deadpool, because that one was mentioned in the chat.
Ugh.
Do you know what the annoying thing about Deadpool is? He's perfect at the start.
Oh yeah, Wade Wilson.
Ryan Reynolds is 100% playing Deadpool at the start.
Reynolds. He's playing Ryan Reynolds.
He's playing Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds is Wade Wilson in Deadpool. It's the same person.
Yeah. Yeah,
but like
pretty much.
the way he's mouthing off, like, and arguing
Yeah.
back with Sabretooth, he's making stupid little quippy comments that makes you want to like basically smack him around. Then when he gets
Yeah.
in the room and he just starts laying in with the swords
Yeah, that
and
was
cuts
sweet.
down every guy, and it's like right up until the end of that stuff, he was like perfect.
Yeah, and then they
And
get
I'm
the
like,
comic book accurate Deadpool right towards the end of the movie.
oh
It's
yeah,
just
yeah. I mean,
awesome.
like it's astonishing how right they got it. You know,
Yeah, it's
like,
Baraka with his mouth sewn shut. Let's be honest.
he'd be the perfect. And I'm like, because they even have the cheek to make the comment like, you'd be the perfect soldier if you just keep your mouth shut. And I'm like, they legitimately sewed his mouth shut, and it's like,
Yeah.
his nickname is the Merc with the mouth.
Like who? Like you say, you always say this. Like somebody had to like see this and sign off on it.
Somebody read this and looked at this and went yes and approved it. That goes through multiple people
Oh
to
my
get that
gosh.
approved. Also, as well, like, he has the blades in his arm. Do I even have to talk about how stupid that is? Because, like, hey, when that goes back in his arm, how does he bend his elbow?
I just keep my arms like this.
It's like his arms
all
like
the
that.
time.
It's like, I'll bend it this way. It's like,
Oh my
man, not
gosh.
again.
Yeah, it busted through my elbow. Daggone it.
I like that Deadpool has a figure in this movie. Yeah, I love the fact that Deadpool, like, the proper
rips it a new
Deadpool,
one.
like,
Just
rips
rips it a new one.
Baraka apart. I love it.
Baraka. That's it. That's it.
I was like, I love that he rips it apart, and I'm like, it's so funny because I'm like,
Can we appreciate the fact that somebody pointed this out in one of the reviews that I was watching? So Logan is Canadian,
Mhm.
and he then proceeds to fight in 100 years of American wars. And at not one point in any of the wars does he go, you know what? I'm gonna set this one out.
yeah, at a point, like, that's the thing as well. I was also watching someone review that as well. It's kind of like, you know what would have been a great origin movie? Literally watching how they got from the point of like running away as kids to getting involved in these wars. Why did they do all this stuff?
Yeah.
Why does like Sabretooth end up with his bloodlust that Wolverine tries to stop him and like, no, this is too far.
Yeah.
You know, like actual origin stuff.
Yeah.
And he said literally after that moment, like once that bit's done, like when he goes to kill the guy and Wolverine tries to stop him, literally at that point, they are who they are by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
There's no progression to who they become.
You're right. You're right.
It's like, this isn't an origin movie, it's just them as they are for the whole thing, and it's...
So I feel like I should preface this. So I don't know if anybody who's listening to this remembers, but before this movie came out, it leaked. It leaked without all of the CGI complete.
Did it?
So
I don't
there was
remember
like
that.
Yeah, so there was some stand-ins for like some of the CGI. It just wasn't complete. I actually saw that version before I saw the real movie, and I will say that the finished movie is exactly the same movie. I'll be straight up.
They've not changed
Nothing
much.
improved. Absolutely
Wow,
nothing improved.
that's-
You saw that? Yeah, it was awful.
That is
It was
rough,
awful.
man. I don't
Because I was
remember
hoping, I was like, maybe it'll improve by the time you see it. No, it didn't.
And then, of course, we can't forget to shout out all the other characters that are part of, I don't know, what are they? Weapon X, Task Force X, what the hell are they getting called?
The Blob, who was basically just big
Blob,
because
who
he had
was
an
a-
eating disorder. He
yeah,
had a
who was-
guilt.
Yeah, he was like
guilt-induced
he was a
eating
skinny
disorder.
he was a skinny guy that was like untouchable. They couldn't
Who
harm
could
him.
punch
Like,
tanks.
he like
and
punches his
explode
hand
them.
into the can of a tank and it blows up, and then apparently he eats himself into being the Blob later.
Yeah, it's
which
like a guilt-induced.
Which one of the
Oh my
stupidest things ever is like, okay, to get this information out of him, or you're gonna have to go in this boxing ring and fight him. Why?
Yeah.
It's like, oh come on, bub. Did you just call me Blob?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
No. It's like, clearly not. There's literally like one letter the same. It clearly didn't even sound close to Blob. It's not even like he said it in a weird way that might have been taken as a Blob, and I'm like, really? You just wanted to get that in? Yeah, but then they
Blob.
screwed him up.
Blob.
So glad that Deadpool finally got made, despite of the X-Men orders. Oh yeah.
Fire.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of sad how long Ryan Reynolds and the people wanting to make it had to fight to get that
Yeah.
movie made. It literally wasn't until Ryan Reynolds leaked the Deadpool thing, that little Deadpool like short clip, that everyone went nuts and they went, "Oh, this guy actually makes money." And I'm like, we've been telling you that for like a decade and a half. Would you just make the movie already?
So this is the first time we saw his bone claws, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
first
that
time
was
I've seen
cool.
his bone
That was
claws,
pretty cool.
which was cool. Which I like that because that was a big reveal in the comics. Like when he had his adamantium taken out and finding out he actually had claws underneath it. That's part
Yeah.
of his mutant power.
Because growing up, I always thought that like he just had metal claws.
Mhm.
He didn't have like there were no bones or whatever.
Yeah, because
Somebody said
it always looked like it was just like that was part of the adamantium they put in him was to have
somebody
those claws.
somebody was like his jagged bone claws look strangely like serrated knives once they put the adamantium.
Yeah, I was
on
gonna
it.
say that's like the bone claws come out, and it looks like it does in the comics, like it's just the circular like blade, like an actual spike
Yeah,
coming out
yeah.
of his finger, and then like they put the adamantium on, and it's like they laid it down in like a blooming
Did somebody put
knife.
chef's knives in this guy's
It's
forearm?
like someone put a knife down and like poured the adamantium over, and I'm like, how did they get that shape?
Dude, and can we comment on how awful the CGI is on those claws at some points? Like when he's looking
Oh,
at them for the first
oh,
time
the
in the mirror,
bathroom,
and they're like
the
floating.
bathroom scene. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is so bad in that scene.
dude, it's awful. It's awful.
I'm
No
like,
wonder they had practical ones like from then on out.
oh no, we're still shouting out characters because remember we got Blob, but we also have Will.I.Am from the Black Eyed Peas,
Who plays Will.I.Am?
who plays
For
Will.I.Am. Is like
yeah,
he's an actual character, but let's be honest, he's playing Will.I.Am.
yeah.
Then we've got what's his face?
Agent Zero. Agent Zero.
Agent Zero, who is like nothing
Yeah.
like what he is in the comics.
Wait a minute. He flips the guns open and then throws the magazines in.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry,
catches
he
it.
does a fancy thing with his guns. That's
How dare you? The light bulb guy.
oh, the light bulb.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
literally what I was going to say.
Monahan. What's his name?
Yeah, we've got
Monahan?
Mary from Lord of the Rings, Dominic
that's right.
Monaghan,
That's it. Dominic.
who like basically can control electricity and like turn on all these electrical stuff, and literally does it at a carnival.
Oh my
And has like no character except to get killed. And I'm like, you put in all, and you know what the annoying thing is? Like, see if you go and research who these characters are, who they actually play. They're playing actual characters from X-Men.
Mhm.
If you read them in the comics, they all have these big storylines and they're big parts of Wolverine's past and all these different things.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, like you basically brought them all in here to be killed.
Yeah.
The
And
only
like,
one, like literally, like Dominic Monaghan's character, Will.I.Am's character, literally exists to get killed.
yeah.
Blob exists to make jokes about the fact of how fat he's got.
Yep.
Agent
And the only
Zero.
reason Gambit exists is to point them to the 3 Mile Island.
Oh yeah, I love the fact he points them there and then like does nothing to help.
Yeah.
He does like
He
nothing to help Wolverine, because like the whole big final fight is like Wolverine and Sabretooth for some reason deciding, hey, let's team up against Deadpool.
And
Even though
then
we've
they're fighting
lit-
back to back on top of the stack.
It's like, even though you two have been literally fighting each other for decades.
I read it. Somebody else said because Wolverine turns to him after they like knock Brockable's head off, and he goes, "This doesn't change anything between us. Although we've been growing up for the past 20 minutes and fighting this dude and helping each other
Although
and
we've been
saving
growing
each
up
other."
and we're actual brothers and we have been friends for all this time, and it was this one thing that tore us apart, and this changes nothing.
Yeah, even though
Also,
we've been fighting
well-
together for the past 20 minutes.
Also, random thing as well, when they beat Deadpool, they like take his head off. So did they just put adamantium blades in his arm? Did they not think to put adamantium in the rest of his skeleton in, like they did with Wolverine?
Well, does adamantium cut through adamantium? That's the question.
Well, no, because we've literally seen that in X2 when he fought Lady Deathstrike. And their claws hit off each other and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Plus, if it cut through each other, we literally see him sparking his claws together when he's in the bathroom earlier in this movie.
The floating CGI claws.
Yeah, the floating, and they don't cut through each other. He doesn't like
Yeah, that's
cut
true.
half his claws off. You know, it's like
Dude,
like,
it's so awful. It's so awful.
there's so many bad things. Like Agent Zero exists just to blow up in that cool like explosion of the helicopter.
You got to do the walk away.
That he ignites with his claws.
A perfectly straight trail of gasoline coming
Yeah,
from the helicopter.
straight from there, and then just the claws. He hits the claws off, and apparently that sparks. Because yeah, adamantium hitting stone would spark. Yeah, stone and metal hitting sparks just automatically enough like that. Like, no, you'd have to hit that like very precisely to get a spark from it.
You know how hard it is to light gasoline on rocks?
So she is. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Emma Frost is in this.
Not called Emma Frost in the movie because I don't know if they just didn't have the rights to her or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
she's not called Emma Frost, but like she's what's her name? Silver Fox or whatever the hell her name is. Like the one that he's in love with. That like
Oh, so yeah, I think it's Silver Fox.
like it's her sister.
Mm.
And like one of that's the
Sure.
whole reason that she's been
Sure.
working with him, because she needs to save him, and apparently she's supposed to save her, and Cyclops is there because we had to randomly cameo him as a kid. And then they go out and they're actually saved by a standing Charles Xavier.
Who? What is this movie missing? Charles Xavier. That's what it's missing. Oh, and Cyclops.
Cyclops is a kid, like, there is
Just
literally no reason.
randomly.
Hey gamer, how's it going, man? Thank you, and thank you also for joining the Comic Clan, bro. I saw you following on the channel before when we were offline. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Scott Summers, man, part of it. You're
Just
literally
randomly.
you're coming into the conversation, gamer. We are literally at this point. There's not even like a consistency to us talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine. We are literally rambling about it at this point.
We're just ripping it apart with fake CGI claws.
It's like everything about it is so bad, and like. And so, like, yeah, they attempt a story in this, which is like after the whole thing with him and Victor, he then goes and becomes a Canadian lumberjack.
Yeah,
and kind of like you said as well, like the fact he fought in all these American wars, like that's the whole thing of what's his face Stryker comes to enlist him in the first place,
no.
And it's like that. It's like, no, my country.
No, I'm Canadian or whatever.
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Like,
and
you
it's
didn't
like,
think to say that like in the past 100 years.
how many
over
wars have you
several
fought in
wars?
that are American wars, and you're like, now you're deciding you're Canadian?
And I have a question. So they obviously, there's one part at the beginning of the movie where they're in front of a firing squad, so they get killed. Like, what happened with that? So they're obviously still alive. I want to know what happened.
Yeah, they're still alive, so like they just got thrown in the prison, and Stryker just gets access to them to like recruit them, and I'm like, what kind of deal did you have to cut to get these like men who don't die out of prison?
Yeah.
Like, because if I was the people that had captured them, I'd be like, these guys don't freaking die. We can get something for this.
Yeah.
Like, we need to like experiment on them somehow and find out how. You know, it's like I'd be asking questions. But like, so he doesn't do that, and it's like he's now like living out in the middle of the forest, so much forest, at his log cabin, which I'm sure he built with his bare hands probably, and his girlfriend, fiance, wife, lady friend that we never quite qualify how close they are.
Who's ambiguously Native American, I think, maybe.
Yeah, kind of. Because she tells like a Native American story about like, and that's how he gets his name. The Wolverine is from that.
They were
story.
like, we want someone Native American, but not that Native American. So
yeah, just a hint
like,
of it, so we can get away with it.
Cast someone who is Native American.
And then we have the whole thing of like, and of course we have to shoehorn in Sabretooth killing her.
Yeah, of course.
To make it fit for the story, because that's what happened in the comics. Like he's with this woman, and Victor Creed is like jealous of their love and stuff like that, and ends up killing her. And that's one of the big things that starts their rivalry and starts them going at each other. So you literally included the catalyst for one of the biggest rivalries in X-Men history, and it's a throwaway point to continue them going at each other. Which is then of course undone because she's actually alive and working for Weapon X.
Yeah.
And has been trying to lure him the whole time because she's working for them, because they have her sister, Emma Frost, who's not called Emma Frost, but it's clearly Emma Frost. It's like, someone approved. This is like a first draft that someone put together, and they just never went back for a rewrite.
They're like, yeah, we don't have time to rewrite it. Let's just print
It's
it.
like they just never edited it. It's like, edit the movie. It's like you could literally cut half these storylines. Like, these characters are so pointless, and of course, like, he goes to get revenge on them and get revenge on Weapon X and stuff. So that's when to get revenge on Creed, he doesn't know it's Weapon X at this point. That's what gets him the adamantium. He agrees to Stryker's program. Victor goes around, Sabretooth goes around killing all their friends that were in their team because
for whatever reason.
I'm pretty sure they mention it. I don't even remember. I'm not gonna lie.
It obviously didn't make that big of an impact.
And he gets really infuriated because he wants the same thing that Wolverine got, the adamantium, and he gets told he wouldn't survive it. I'm not sure how. They've got pretty much the same power.
Yeah.
They've both been alive for a couple of 100 years at this point. Like, they both survived the firing squad. What has he done differently that makes you think that's not going to work for him?
They're basically the same person.
Yeah. So technically Wolverine Origins is set near the time of X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like late
Scott is in
70s.
school.
Late 70s, early 80s, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But maybe it never even happened now, because remember, Days of Future Past wiped out any movie we don't want part of.
I'm honestly, I'm so confused with X-Men continuity timeline. I don't know what's what. It just confuses the crap out of me.
You know what? They dropped the last movie at last, New Mutants. We don't have to worry about it ever again. I'm like, but looking back, and like, none of it makes sense. And the funny thing is, they try to reset it multiple times and get it all to work, and it still doesn't freaking make sense. But yeah, so like he goes after Weapon X. He finds out that Creed was working for them the whole time, so he goes to take them out while they're working on Weapon 11. Deadpool.
Baraka Pool.
Which, to be fair, it's a kind of a cool throw in that he's Weapon 11, because they actually changed the meaning in the comics. Weapon X was the name of the program, but it turns out Wolverine is Weapon X. It's a Weapon Plus program.
Mm-hmm.
So like Captain America was technically Weapon 1.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wolverine's Weapon X, he's Weapon 10. So the fact that the numbers go up, I kind of like that that's now in continuity with the comics, and it kind of makes it bigger than, hey, we did this thing to Wolverine a while ago. It's like, no, they've actually been doing stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. But yeah, so he goes there and he finds out Silver Fox is still alive, and she's been lying to him the whole time, and she's like got like a manipulation power, which I'm like you're this hot chick that's willing to move in.
The
with
power
him.
of suggestion.
Yeah, it's like I don't think you had to suggest that much to him. You're a hot chick that moved in with him in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I don't know how many guys that are single guys that I would walk up to and would say no to that personally.
Yeah.
I don't know how much suggestion was needed, but okay, woo, hit my mic. Chunk saying, yeah, they were like, it's fine, that'll make enough money for us to make the next X-Men Origins. If that's what they thought, and then that one became First Class, because they're like, yeah, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes there and he starts fighting Sabretooth, and they go and try and break it. Like Silver Fox decides she's going to turn on them and use that opportunity to break all the mutants out, and again they go and get Cyclops and Emma Frost, and they go out to Xavier and all that stuff we mentioned. And then the doors open, and the greatest comic book interpretation walks in. Deadpool with Baraka blades in his arms and his mouth
and
showing up.
Random kinesio tape on his chest.
Yeah, random tape all over him. And don't forget optic blast, because we try to infuse all these mutant powers into him.
Of course.
Do you know what mutant power you should have gave him instead of optic blast? See the chick you've got that turns into diamonds to make her indestructible?
Yeah.
See if you'd done that. Or even if you'd gave him the full adamantium skeleton so his head didn't come off when it was cut off.
Or just make him Deadpool. Would be great.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. No. You kidding? Deadpool? No one would watch that.
But Deadpool's been in the comics for decades and it's been working fine. Nah, that doesn't work.
No, that never make his money. Who you kidding? No,
I don't
of
know
course not.
Comic book accurate costumes? What are you talking about?
No.
I'm just gonna give him a wife beater and some jeans. That's Wolverine.
Yep, there you go.
Anyways,
so of course they fight Baraka Pool. Of course, on top of the stack, because why not?
Somebody said they were fighting back to back, and so Baraka Pool kept teleporting in front of each of them, and some dude was like, "Look, he can only teleport 2 places. Just swing your claws like a crazy person in front of you, and you'll hit him eventually."
Yeah, like he's teleporting between those 2 spots, and I'm like, just both go. One of you is going to happen.
Just go nuts. Yeah,
and of course they decapitate him, and his optic blast still goes off even though he's decapitated, so it takes down the smokestack. Okay, I brought this up last week for X2. I'm going to bring it up again. See if you've got an adamantium lacing on your skeleton. You cannot be shot in the brain.
Even with an adamantium bullet.
Even with an adamantium bullet that we have already confirmed adamantium doesn't go through adamantium. He literally did it to his own claws by slashing them off each other, and they were fine. Adamantium will not go through adamantium. We've made that clear multiple times in this, but apparently this one adamantium bullet can go through an adamantium skull.
Because it's pointy. It's pointy.
But not enough to kill him. Just enough to graze him and make him lose memories of everything that happened here.
Yeah.
No. And then randomly as well, like Stryker gets touched by Silver Fox and told to walk until like his feet bleed or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just walks. And I'm like, I don't know what that's got to do with anything, but apparently he did, and he gets found in the end credits, and I'm like,
that was her redemption arc? She felt bad for what she did, like setting up her lover.
Which I love the fact as well, like, Gambit takes him there. Gambit does not go in there with him, does not help in the fighting, any of that sort of stuff. Which, you know, a guy who's meant to be able to blow up stuff by touching it.
He cuts one of the smokestacks in half with the staff, I think, but I think that's it.
But even then, at the end, Wolverine is shot in the head, he loses his memory. He runs up to him, and Wolverine obviously freaking out, doesn't have any clue who he is. Instead of like, and they hear cops coming, instead of like trying to drag him off, instead of being with him and traveling with him and trying to like remind him of like what happened a little bit, you're good, bud. Runs off
Peace.
and just leaves him sitting there, and it's like, no, just no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Chunk the Hut
Yeah,
says,
yep, exactly. But at least X-Men First Class was so much better. It is. X-Men First Class
I,
is
I
actually a
love
really
First
good
Class.
movie.
I
It's a
love
really,
First Class.
James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, phenomenal actors. I will never not
Awesome.
love them. Don't get me
Awesome.
wrong. Later X-Men movies, they clearly stopped caring.
Yes.
But they're two of my favorites. I love the two of them as actors.
Continuity is still wacky, but
Oh, yeah.
it's a good movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. The continuity is but you know.
Whatever.
So, closing thoughts on the Last Stand
Yeesh.
in X-Men Origins.
Everything that they could have done incorrectly, they did incorrectly to the 10th power. I'll just throw it out that way.
Last Stand has some really good points in it. It has some really good stuff in it that they could have expanded on or could have done more of. So at least it does have some redeeming features, I will say this. I forgot how bad X-Men Origins was until I'm literally talking it out on stream here right now. Like, legitimately. Every bad choice they could have made, they made.
Yeah.
Everything that could have went wrong, went wrong. And it doesn't make sense. No wonder the next X-Men movies ignored it. No wonder the Wolverine jumped forward to modern day Wolverine and just we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Even the X-Men franchise was that embarrassed about it.
It's one of the worst comic book movies ever made.
It's like, literally somebody asked me, like, one of the viewers is usually in here, but was messaging me on Facebook and asked me about it and was saying, like, what do you think like the most comic book accurate, like, you know, movie is? And I'm like, the most non-accurate comic book movie has got to be this one.
Yeah.
The X-Men movies play fast and loose with X-Men stuff, but legitimately, they could not have gotten more wrong in this movie if they tried. Like, seriously. Some movie he walks for a long time and then years later he gets tied up to a damn Stryker. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which, again, Stryker's not even that character in the comics. Like, he's a completely, like, transformed character in the comics. He's like a radical preacher who try to turn people against mutants that they're not of God, you know?
But, yeah, this movie is just god awful.
Yeah,
it's
but these
so
are
bad.
awful. These are 100% awful.
Yeah, both of them are awful, but a Wolverine takes the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the worst one we've reviewed so far. Like, we've been doing the early 2000s stuff. This is like part 5 we're on now.
I still feel Elektra is worse because it does everything wrong, but it's also boring. This at least has some cool parts in it, kind of.
Chunk saying, do we
it's very
think
close.
X-Men Origins Wolverine's the worst X-Men movie?
Oh, absolutely. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yes.
The worst X-Men movie?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I would say so. I was going to say Dark Phoenix or The Last Stand, but I think Wolverine is the worst.
Oh, Last Stand's definitely worse. My thought was like, I'll be honest, I've not even seen Dark Phoenix. I refuse to watch it. The one I was thinking of was Apocalypse.
Maybe I'm thinking about Apocalypse.
Because they wreck that one so bad.
Is it bad that I don't know which one is which? Yeah, that's bad.
Apocalypse is with Ivan Ooze.
That's right. That might have been the one I was thinking about.
I'll be honest, I've not seen Apocalypse since the first time I watched it. I have literally not watched it more than once, and I have no intention to. But off the top of my head, I want to say X-Men Origins is worse.
I would agree.
I think just like with how much it gets wrong, they at least Apocalypse feels like in some ways they at least kind of tried.
Because I mean, everything like Origins, everything is bad.
Everything.
The script is bad. The story is bad. Some of the acting is bad. The special effects are bad. What they got from the comics is bad. It's just all bad. Yeah. All of it. With the other stuff, there's hints of redeeming qualities in the other movies.
Yeah,
but this one is just really bad.
Yeah, for me, it's like this is the worst one. This is like it's just so bad.
I would agree.
I can't think of one that's on par with like that. Like there's others that come close. Don't get me wrong. 100% others that come freaking close. That I mean, most of the X-Men movies are awful. Are absolutely awful. But yeah, Origins.
Yeah, rip Havoc.
Oh yeah, he's a character at some point. We're gonna make him a main character of these ones. No. We've changed
No,
our
we're gonna
mind.
kill him.
We've changed our mind. No, he's not needed. All right, but I think that wraps us up for the Reds. There's nothing much more to say. We've
No, I
ranted
think
on
we've
this,
ripped it a new one.
I actually feel exhausted having talked about that movie. Do you know that? I legitimately feel exhausted having talked about Wolverine.
I feel angry. Like I have
Yeah.
a bunch of anger. Just
All right, guys, we are probably going to call it a day for there. Make sure we will be back next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to have to think about
I
it.
should get Lock and Key in, so we might. Let's go ahead and just plan on that.
I want to give us time to at least read through the book and for others to pick it up
Okay.
if they want and read through it. Because if you're just coming in Thursday,
I see what you're saying.
that's like 4 days. So I don't know. We might try and talk about a specific topic. We might just have a hangout one next week. But I'm thinking a week tomorrow or a week.
Okay.
2 weeks. Shut up,
Yep.
Cross. 2 weeks today. I can't speak anymore. I'm that mad. 2 weeks today, I think we'll be doing Lock and Key. So again, I'm going to throw it up in the chat. And the book club, if you want to go ahead and pick that up, and I'm going to throw Claws in there as well if you want to snag that for December whenever you get a chance, guys. I'll throw it in there. But go ahead and pick up Lock and Key.
We'll be wearing our hats next week, and mine will be better as always. So just tune in to see that.
Just stop before you dig yourself a hole, man. You can't. Hey, CV, thank you for popping in. Thank you for coming in. It's so great to see you. CV, you might recognize from a post we put up on our Instagram. That during this week we decided she looks like Willa Holland from Arrow, that plays his sister. So, and apparently a lot of people agree. CV, I don't know if you've seen the picture lately, but there's like almost like 100 likes on it. It's like one of the most popular posts we've put up in a long time. So yeah, a lot of people apparently agree. And so have a great week, guys, from Chung. And well, once again for a great Sunday. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for everyone that's came in and joined us. Remember for the next few days, for the next 3 days, we are still in September, so you can totally drop a sub. It's because you like the actress in it. It's like, yeah, I put the actress in it. It's like, yeah, of course. It's like, I'm not ashamed of it. Like, you look like her. Like, legitimately on stream, I was looking at her face and like, she looks like Willa Holland. 100%. Go and check the picture out on our Instagram. Look for yourself, but I swear she looks like Willa Holland. But yeah, no, it's like I put it in, and apparently people are liking it because they agree. You need to accept it, CV. Redeemed comic book recommendation. Oh, Cage Inc. 385 redeemed a comic book recommendation. You know what? Let me give you, like, Cage, if you've got any sort of stuff that you're interested in specifically, I can definitely drop you something specific or just anything. I'll give you 2. First of all, Lock and Key that we're talking about, but I'll give you one different from that since you're redeeming channel points. Give me 1 sec to grab something. Stop staring at my butt, everybody.
Sorry, I just can't help it.
Yeah. So recommendation I will definitely give for anyone, and this is for everyone to pick up. Oh well, I don't know what else to redeem. So I will give a recommendation, just because there's no specifics that have been given. Injustice, the comic book that ties into the game. If you've played Injustice: Gods Among Us, the game's fairly decent. I kid you not. This is again, it's from one of my favorite writers, Tom Taylor. Check out Injustice: Gods Among Us, the comic book series. There's a whole bunch of volumes for that one, and then it goes into Injustice 2, and he's even done 0 Year, and there's all this stuff. So if you've not read the comics that go along with Injustice, 100%, you will not be disappointed. Tom Taylor's like one of the best writers in comics today. It's like, I will die on that hill. Like, he is one of the best writers in comics today. So like, the games Injustice 1 and 2 are good. Yeah, like, I swear. I'm not gonna lie, like, the whole thing of, like, I say on this channel is, the greatest streamers you never heard of come from the Booster Gold saying, the greatest hero you've never heard of. He's one of my favourite heroes. I love Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. He legitimately had me almost crying writing them in Injustice 2. Like, when he writes them in the comic for that, like, it's so good. Yeah, so if you're a fan of the games, like Ads and Gage, if you're a fan of the games, check out the comic. 100% it ties in. The first 5 years of Injustice up to year 5 is like all prequel to the game. And then Injustice 2 takes place in between Game 1 and Game 2. All right, but I think that's it for today.
Cool.
Go ahead, I'll throw the link in again for you if you want to grab stuff from the book club to pick up Lock and Key. Next week we will see you all again at 2 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and yeah, it's really cool. Honestly, Cage, definitely check it out, man. Let me have a look on Twitch and see if there's someone we can drop a raid to. If anyone's got any recommendations as well of people to raid, that would be great, because Sundays are usually pretty quiet days. So I want a... Ah, there we go. Frostbite's on. He raided us last week, so I'm going to go and bug him. Let me make sure he's not like going off stream or anything like that. Oh, stupid commercial. Alright, yeah, so we're going to go and raid Frostbite. He popped in last week to raid us, so I'm going to return the favour to him. The guy's absolute legend. He's playing a pretty chill stream today, so if you guys can go along with this, show him some love, give him some follows. He's an amazing guy. He's also a big comic book fan. Get him talking about the MCU if you want. I was talking to him about that in comics yesterday when I jumped into his chat. So he is awesome. Frostbite. Make sure I spell this right, because I always forget how to spell stuff because I'm going between two screens. Alright, and we are going to jump in, but you all have an absolutely amazing week, and we will see you
everybody.
all. We'll see you all next Sunday. Take care.
Peace out.
Excelsior.
See you guys.
Alright, dropping in for the raid. Yeah, show Frostbite some love if you've not. He's awesome, dude.